Alrighty, let us get started. Hopefully this is working. I'll move my mic a little bit closer. Hopefully that's gonna work a little bit better. Let me know if you guys can hear me. It's always a good thing to know. How you guys doing? Hopefully you're having a good weekend. I guess it's a weekend for everybody, isn't it? I think so. When I do these on my Saturday, it's still Friday for a lot of you, so at least now we're all on a weekend together. I suppose if you are working or studying, that's probably a meaningless phrase to call it a weekend, but hopefully you guys are at least able to relax a little bit. How you guys doing? Sight and sound, fantastic. Great, we love to hear it. And the rest of you, is the sound okay? I know with the patrons we were working on some of the sound, and I'll be finally getting a proper cover for this mic. Unfortunately, it's going to take a while to get it sent over. So that is, but hopefully this is cutting out some of the sound from the fan. Please let me know if you can hear that. It's just so hot. That's what we're dealing with. Sounds perfect. Okay, great. Great. That's what I like to hear. Good morning, Kushi. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Or good afternoon, evening. All right. So when we last left the Book of Enoch, just to kind of go back here, we had talked about a few of the parables. I'm not 100% sure if we went through the third parable, but I'm sure that we can have fun going through that right quick. Just as a reminder, and then going on to the book of Noah. Okay, so that's where we're jumping in here. It looks like I had skipped a couple, so I do have to change that thumbnail because it looks like we are going to, what is this, 71? So, Roman numerals. Why can't they just write a number? Why are we doing the Roman numerals? You know what I mean? It just feels like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Hello, Liam. Nice to have you back with us. So we are gonna make this nice and big so I can read it. Hopefully you guys can see it okay in my little face section here is not cutting it off. I think it is good. Alright, so it is kind of cutting it off. That's okay. We'll go down and then go up. Alright. So just to kind of remind you, Enoch is kind of going through this sort of like the end of the world and what's going to happen and why people deserve to go to hell, basically. So that's it. I guess as a fun discussion point, what makes you deserve to go to hell? What do you think? In the Christian frame. If you want to answer for the Muslim worldview, that's totally fine, depending on where you are. Some of the chat messages are not showing up. Maybe if we change it, maybe it's from me, if I change it from top chat to, I don't know why this is so, it's like when you click on top chat, it gives you, here we go, live chat. Maybe that's, it's still not showing up. I mean, I'm still having all the same messages, so I'm not sure. Maybe if I pop out the chat. Cool, it's pinned. I don't know. I'm still having the same number of chat messages. So, okay. That's weird that the default is top chat. The live chat option says all messages are visible, and top chat says some messages, such as potential spam, may not be visible. Wouldn't the live stream creator want to see if somebody is spamming the chat? Okay. I don't know why that's the default, but there you have it. All right. So we'll do the live chat. Hopefully that does help. Okay, great. So Menno, that's good. Awesome. So again, Enoch is kind of going through this, and learning about it, but what would make you worthy of going to hell? What do you think? I think in the Christian worldview, I think just being a non-believer, you know, unless you want to say that I don't know, piercings and things. You know, these little obscure the sins that most Christians don't even follow would send me to hell. I don't know. I mean, there's always this idea that uh, you know, you become an atheist just to sin, which I think I should probably do a video on, because the idea of a sin is it's almost like a temptation when you're not supposed to do it, but then when you take away that ought or the ought not, it suddenly doesn't become a temptation anymore. It's not like you're worried about it or wondering about it or preoccupied with it. It's like when you're trying to be on a diet and telling yourself, okay, I'm not going to eat my favorite food. I don't know, let's just say chocolate or pizza or something. Suddenly you become preoccupied with it, right? But as soon as you tell yourself, you know what, forget it, I'm just going to go ahead and just allow this back into my diet, you're not worried about it anymore, you know? So this idea that atheists just want to sin, it's like these are not like delicious temptations to us anymore, you know? So that's always been kind of weird to me as a concept. What about you guys? What is going to be sending you to hell? Actively trying to convert people away from Christianity to atheism. Are you saying that for me? Because that's something a lot of people accuse me of. Or are you saying that for you? I guess that would be a sin, wouldn't it? For sure. Renouncing the Holy Spirit is the big one. Yes. I think I did that in a video. I know I did. I just don't remember the date. It was like 2013 or something, because this channel has been here for a bajillion years. Saw the start of the universe and everything. Yeah, that's a big one, to renounce the Holy Spirit. Which is interesting, you know, that everything can be forgiven, even the most horrible things that will get my, you know, to get somebody demonetized. Not that any of my videos are monetized anymore. Hello, Shuggle. Welcome. Thank you for joining us, even though it's pretty late for you. Same with you, Menno. Yeah, so, Ackle, you said for you, you're trying to convert people away from Christianity. The hand, nothing happened to the hand. These are not braces. These are just coverings. So they're like UV sleeves to make it slightly more cooling. What's the new? I feel like every time I sign in, somebody says, "Love the new look." What new look are we doing? I really don't know. Everybody says there's a new look, or compares me to a cartoon character. Oh, because you have braids, you're Pippi Longstocking, and oh, you're wearing an orange sweater, you're Velma. You know, it's always, I'm always met with those two types of reactions. I'm only an atheist for the all-you-can-eat sin buffet. It has crab legs. I love that because that is a sin. Look for today seems to be a job applicant from the 80s, but no shoulder pads for some reason. Is that what I look like? A job applicant from the 80s. I think my lips need to be more red, but can we pad this? Can we do it? Is that what we're doing while you guys are figuring out your sins? We got this here. We'll just pat her out, I guess. What do we think? Yes! We doing it? I live. Okay. But I feel like my hair needs to be more, you know, in a bun for that. So, alright. My curls are coming back. Maybe that's what you guys are noticing. After trying to take care of my hair forever, my curls are coming back. So maybe that's what you guys are noticing. Alrighty. So, I think maybe I'm gonna put a little start stamp here. Just for later, so that way anybody in the future can see it. So we are at 9:30, and that's where we are going to start. 9:30. All right. So Enoch is talking about the third parable concerning the righteous and elect. These are basically the people that followed Yahweh. Okay, so not us. All right. Blessed are ye righteous and elect, for glorious shall be your lot. Now, for those of you that are not speaking English as a first language, when we're talking about lot, we're talking about an amount of something that you're going to get. But typically, when we use this word in English these days, people talk about a lot as in much of a thing. Really, lots are like property. And that's kind of an interesting way to look at it, to change this. For glorious shall be your property. So it's something that you're receiving, something that you own, something that you can have command over. And whatever it is, it's going to be super glorious and super wonderful. So that's what we're talking about with your lot. We're not talking about your glorious things are many. They may be, but in this case particularly, we're using it as your property, this set amount of property that you're going to get. And also in things like buildings and stuff, the lot is the land where you build your building. So it's kind of fun. Alrighty, let's go ahead and take a sip of my fabulous coconut coffee. I'm still going to recommend that to you guys, to go ahead and have your coconut cream powder to mix that with your coffee. It's just the best. And let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. The background. Oh, the background is the same. But the hair and shirt are nice too. Yeah, the background's the same as it's always been. Went to a church to convert people a few times. By the way, my name is Alec. Okay, we'll call you Alec then. You went to church to convert people. I feel like I want to have you like on to interview you and just see how that went. The only thing missing is the shoulder pads and the monster teased hair with bangs of the century. That's true. We need the bangs here. In my opinion, when people talk about good about someone, it means that he is in heaven. If they talk bad about the person, they are in hell. So everyone should keep doing good always. But what is good, right? How do we define something that's good or moral? And then once we figure out what we want to consider good or moral, then we can go from there. Let's see. The third parable seems to be more of Elizabethan English than the other ones we've seen. Is Elizabethan used for emphasis or for spiritual gravitas? This is actually pretty similar to the English that we have seen before. So there have been a couple times when I've had to explain some of it because the language or the English that we use today doesn't necessarily match some of this. And I was trying to talk about this with somebody, and it almost made me want to rewrite this in a way that was a little bit easier to read, because it's kind of not fair, you know, if you've learned English, but you haven't learned this version of English, and you're trying to read this, some of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. There was the word smitten, for example. These days when we talk about smitten, it's like, oh, this person is very charismatic and maybe I want to go on a date with them. But when we're talking about smitten here, we're talking about to smite or having smote someone. And in that case, that's like a hard smack or to strike somebody down. And that's very violent, very different from how we use the word smitten today. And I think that was actually in the first chapter. The trip to church was surprisingly boring. That's too bad. You should do the man on the street stuff. So that'd be fun. Hi, Alika. Welcome. So we are studying the book of Enoch. So I don't know if you are very familiar with how the Bible was compiled, but there's a lot of books that were left out of the Bible. And so the book of Enoch is one. It is referred to or referenced in the Bible. So that's what makes it, to me, really interesting because of that. So hopefully you'll learn a bit more about it, and you can check out some of the other videos that I've already done. This is part 7, because it gives a little bit more information about the story of Noah and how Noah, this alcoholic jerk of a father, was considered the most perfect human. Why did that happen? And so it is discussed in the earlier stuff, yeah. I took lot to mean fate for one's destiny instead of physical goods. Yes, so we can think about it that way, but what we've been talking about here so far, I do want to say there is that context so far. There's a lot of physical benefits that these people are receiving. So that's kind of why I jumped immediately to that. But yeah, you can say it is your fate. It is the thing that you receive, your spiritual property or metaphysical, not metaphysical, abstract property is what I'm thinking. Um, Maybe referring to the casting of lots and claromancy, which was popular. So the casting of lots, that is different. Yes, very good point. And we actually will encounter that when we do the infancy gospel of James, which is a type of like the gospel of Mary, the mother of Jesus. So they do cast lots, and so that is a different use of it. See, this is not fun, right? Smite, in the Elizabethan sense, refers to a powerful blast or hard blow, right? And so God smites people. This is why it's, now I'm not like an English scholar, if we want to go more deeply into this, then definitely, you can look that up, or we can have a separate video to go into it a little bit more if you guys are interested in that. But this is just trying to provide, some clarification with it. Let's see. Here for the live version, happy to catch it. Happy to have you, Daniel. Yes, smitten, in love or impressed, right, and that's how we use it today, Menno, but that's not how God's not smitten with us. I only beat people in accordance with the King James Bible, I see. Well, it's a good, it's got the leather on it. I think that's good for beating. I read Enoch, but didn't make much of it. Well, hopefully you'll enjoy this. I think we had a really good time with it, for the other videos as well. So hopefully you will enjoy that. I think it's a really interesting book. Speaking of, let us continue. So the righteous shall be in the light of the sun, the elect in the light of eternal life, and their days shall be unending, and the days of the holy without number. So this is nothing that should be surprising to you, the idea that when you die and are judged, and then you are judged to be a righteous person, you live for eternity, right? So they seek the light, find righteousness with the Lord of spirits, also called the eternal Lord. Yahweh has many, many names. So they're in this heaven. They seek out the secrets of righteousness, which I always thought was a weird phrase. Is that what we're doing for the rest of eternity? Looking through the secrets of righteousness? What does that mean exactly? The heritage of faith. What does that mean? The heritage of faith. Are we looking for... Well, you can't really have faith when you know, right? If you're literally in the presence of Yahweh, you don't need faith anymore. You can see the guy face to face, right? So this is a bit of a strange passage here that I thought. For it has become bright as the sun upon the earth, and the darkness is past. And there shall be a light that never endeth, and to a limit, or to number of days it shall not come. For the darkness shall first have been destroyed, and the light established before the Lord of spirits, and the light of uprightness established forever before the Lord of spirits. So again, what do we got? What did this chapter say? You're going to hang out forever and possibly learn the secrets of righteousness. Cool. It's a little bit more interesting, I guess, than the previous stuff that we've read, which is like, hey, you're going to eat a bunch of fruit. That's great. And also constantly praise Yahweh. So I guess this, at least you can learn something. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and check out the chat. Lee might come to a point and do live in Elizabethan English. Who knows? I don't think so. Unless I decide to do a character. Don't know if I'm ready for that though. Girl, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Eternal scavenger hunt. That's kind of what it seems. I feel like it might be fun at first, but to continue to do the same thing forever does seem a bit boring. Now, I'm not the type of person who doesn't like the idea of eternity. There are people that particularly atheists who say things like, I'm glad my life has a finite ending. The idea of eternity just seems boring to me. For me, I don't think so. I think that knowledge and the pursuit of knowledge, it's unending. So I think that would be interesting. Yeah. Late for Bible class, that's okay. You just get an F for your attendance. Don't worry. Let's see. Hello, Max. Welcome. Mr. Bubbles, my grandfather was a pastor of a church for many years. At his funeral, they made sure to mention that they couldn't say for sure he went to heaven. Christians want to keep salvation in doubt. They really, really do. And I remember there was a criticism of Islam that you never know if you're going to heaven or not. Yeah, Shuggle, that's a good question. Was this a Calvinist church? Mr. Bubbles, I'm wondering, is this an evangelical church? Oh, a Mennonite church. Okay. Yeah, there's a very different view on it. Some of the sects believe that once you are saved, you're saved, that's it. But there's other ones where your salvation is always in question. You have to constantly pray for forgiveness for sins that you may have accidentally committed, plus the fact that you're just inherently sinful just because you're human. It's very stressful, to say the least. Mr. Bubbles, you probably have, but just in case you haven't, I will recommend Apologia. Apologia was also a Mennonite, and now he makes these amazing videos. So that is my recommendation, to check out Apologia. Which is how it's supposed to be, like apologist, like apologia. A lot of people mispronounce it as Pelagia. I know it's usually the Christian apologists, which is very strange to me that they say Pelagia. Armenians have a choice based on salvation, where Calvinists believe that it's predetermined. Yeah, so Calvinism, I would say it's not super popular these days. I think the idea of Calvinism could have been a little less stressful. Do you know what I mean? You would feel more secure in your faith, or sorry, you're secure in your salvation with Calvinism. And I feel like it would be a little less stressful, this idea that God already decided, so it's not even up to you, you know? And I would say that definitely is biblically supported. The idea of free will is really not supported in the Bible. Let's see. I explained the Amish and the Mennonites to some Amish techs working on the machine that I was hooking up. Okay, they didn't understand. For some reason the message was retracted, so we'll go on to chapter 59. Why are we doing this in Roman numerals? If you guys are going to do something, just put the Arabic numerals, okay? Not the Roman numerals. Raised as a non-believer, but turned secular into a secular believer. Oh, that's interesting. Before the rise of evangelicalism, Calvinism was really strong in the last revival of Christianity in America. Absolutely, absolutely was. Calvinism was a huge thing, for sure. I think I would like to do like a separate video on how this exploded, like how many Christian sects exploded at the late 19th century. I think that would be really interesting. All right, so the lights and the thunder. I do think we did talk about this, but again, we can go through this. In those days, mine eyes saw the secrets of the lightnings. We're literally talking about lightning, okay? And just as a fun reminder, lightning, okay, is that zap stuff in the sky, okay? Whereas lightning, which a lot of people write this, so they use this incorrectly. Lightning is to make something appear lighter or more pale, brighter or more pale. Okay, so we're not looking at the secrets of making things brighter. We're looking at the secrets of lightning. Okay, and of the lights. In this case, we're talking about not lights, but we're talking about the sun. We're talking about the moon, which they believed was its own light, and then also the stars. So the judgments they execute They lighten for a blessing or a curse as the Lord of Spirits willeth. Pretty different than the cosmology we understand today, isn't it? This idea that they're literally judging. I kind of see like the sun doing like a spotlight, you know, where's the thief, and then he's hiding, and then there's like the sun judges him, and there's like a spotlight, everything else is dark, and then they just all see this guy running through the town, you know. This seems very odd to, you know, with a lot of these beliefs, they came from trying to explain certain phenomena, and I can't imagine what natural occurrence would execute judgment. The only thing I can possibly think is providing lights, such as a full moon for people that need light at night. Maybe they're trying to escape to safety or something, or lightning striking a person. Maybe that's what they're trying to explain, why lightning hits this person, but the rest of us were not hit by lightning. That's the only thing I can think of for the judgment of the lightning. Is enlightening to make something weigh less? Yes, you can use it that way, but lightening, I usually see that in the most common way that I see it is for lightening cream. So for people that are trying to make their face more pale. Is this an atheist channel from the goat? The goat, this is just a channel of learning stuff. So, you know, we are not necessarily believers in Christianity. Many people here are atheists, but some people join us. They're Christian, they're Muslim, they're spiritual, they're deist. So we're just here to learn more about the Book of Enoch right now. That's all we're doing. Let's see. When I think of Calvinism, I think John Edwards, R.C. Sproul, or then today James White. When I think of Calvinism, I just think of like the old-timey Calvinism, like the 1500s. Or lightning hitting buildings and starting fires like natural disasters, right. Or hitting, actually a lot of the wildfires are caused by lightning in a dry area, that, what is it, the heat lightning. And then also the fact that we put out wildfires. Wildfires are a part of nature. You know, some of the plants have evolved to seed under high heat, for example. And so this idea that we're putting out these fires leaves all of that dead stuff, and that should have burned away, but it didn't, because we put out the fire. And so the more that we put these fires out, the more this dead stuff builds up, and then eventually we get a fire that just is way too out of control because it has all this fuel for it. So that's a problem. Let's see. Not sure why that was hidden, Dominique, but we're checking it out. I always think of whitewashing of churches and the iconoclasm. Yeah, that's also true. Let's see. Guilt, I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know if that's the... Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's a song reference, but I just don't know. Is the smoke from the West Coast fires here in the U.S. getting to you in Korea? Not as far as I know. That is a large area to travel with the Pacific Ocean. We tend to get stuff blown in from China, and then also just a lot of stuff we make here in Korea. All right. So Enoch is also witnessing the secrets of thunder. And when it resounds above in heaven, the sound thereof is heard, and he caused me to see the judgments executed on earth. I'm sorry, let me check the... let me check the weather today. Okay, it might be raining later. Actually, it's supposed to be raining lots and lots, because I just thought I heard thunder as I said this. So that was... I might get some judgment execution happening to this old lady here. All right. So these also can be for well-being or blessing or for a curse according to the word of the Lord of Spirits. It does make me wonder how lightning can bless somebody, you know, if it's going to strike you down. I guess if it strikes you down and you live, then I guess you're known as the person that God saved. I'm not sure how they would would translate some good thing from a lightning strike or thunder. I guess if it's something like that where you say a thing and then thunder just rumbles, perhaps it adds weight to the words that you said. And if I say something like, God sees what you're doing and he's going to punish you, and the rest of us are going to be saved, and then the thunder rumbles, that could seem like what I said, is affirmed by the heavens, but that's the only thing I can think of for for like a phenomena that needs an explanation. A phenomenon. Let's see. And after all that, the secrets of the light and the lightnings were shown to me, and they lightened for blessing and for satisfying. Satisfying what? To whom? I'm not 100% sure. Too bad Enoch didn't tell us the secrets of the lightnings and the thunders. Alright. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Guy had a chance to share the secrets of electricity, just gave readers the runaround and said, exactly, Joey. That's what I'm saying, right? He could have helped everybody out, but no. The only natural spotlight thing I know of is the God rays. Those rays you can see through the clouds on hazy days. Did we talk about this? I'm getting severe deja vu, Chris. I was certainly hoping the smoke wasn't getting to you. That really wasn't meant to be taken seriously. Oh, I mean, I didn't know. It is a little bit spooky, Dominique, yes. If you're well insulated from the ground, it only blesses you. Apparently. I witnessed some people get struck by lightning. They were just in shock, but no injuries. Lightning is such an unknown force in nature. I would also remind you guys, if somebody gets hit by lightning, of course, you want to check on them. If they appear to be dead, start CPR. That's one of the big dangers of lightning, is you get hit by lightning and your heart stops, but it doesn't immediately kill you, and then you die because your heart stopped. So get that CPR going through. Causation versus correlation, I guess, or just imagination. Could be. Now here, this next few chapters that we're going to be reading, this is about the book of Noah. Okay, so this is very exciting. For those of you that didn't join us for the Noah section, basically there are these angels that have a job that they're just called the Watchers, and they're supposed to watch. What do they watch? The people. I mean, that's their job. It's a very descriptive title, Eventually the Watchers, just watching, they fell in love with people, and they decided to take on human form. For biblical angels, their human form is that of a beautiful man. So the idea of like a female angel doesn't really exist. Stuff like barely mentioned is like a female being that flies. Usually that's negative, like associated with sins or something like that. So these guys came down to earth. They shared information. Each of the Watchers had information. This is very reminiscent of different gods from polytheism. So this idea that each god kind of has a specialty, and then they bestow their knowledge unto mankind, like the knowledge of metalworking, the knowledge of herbal remedies, those kinds of things. They also mated with the humans, and when they had children, those children were giants. And we're not talking the idea of, well, since people were really short back then, that a person of average height today would be a giant to them. We're not talking that. They specified the height. The height is like 3 kilometers tall. These are mountain-sized people. And having exhausted all the food sources, these spawn, these offspring of the Watchers and the humans, they began to just eat and eat and eat just any living thing, including humans. So a bunch of people were screaming. The other angels heard this. The other angels go to Yahweh, who wasn't aware of any of this happening. So this idea that he's all-knowing, just not really supported in the Bible. So they tell him, like, hey, the Watchers got loose. Yahweh gets very upset. And this is when he kind of floods everything. Noah is chosen, like I mentioned, he's an alcoholic jerk of a father. And that's what we see in the Bible. He's chosen as a perfect human, not because he's a great guy and he's super righteous, but he's chosen as the perfect human because he's still human. None of his children have reproduced with these, I was going to say aliens, with these Watchers. They aren't learning anything from the Watchers. They aren't tainted with that knowledge that wasn't supposed to get out. So that's what makes him the perfect human, like perfectly human DNA and perfectly human understanding. We're not talking about him as a moral being or a kind being. So he's the perfect human in that he didn't interact with the Watchers, and that's why his family is saved. So now we're going to see more about this. All right. Have I been struck by lightning? I have not. If I have been, I would always show off the lightning scars. I think those are really interesting. May Captain America put a shield above Lee. That's great. There's some joke about SHIELD as well, the group. The Nephilim. Yes, this is the Nephilim. Haven't done CPR training in a while. Compressions only, or compressions plus mouth to mouth. If they're breathing. If they're able to breathe, you don't want to do the mouth-to-mouth. So if it appears that they've stopped breathing, you do want to do mouth-to-mouth. I wonder if there's any connection between the Watchers and the 24 Elders of Heaven. It could be. We can definitely check into that later for sure. God bless you, sis. Thank you, Alika. I may not believe in your God, but of course you can appreciate the sentiment, so thank you. Look with your eyes, not with your fingers. Yeah, exactly. Let's see, lightning is high enough voltage, it doesn't matter if you're insulated, if you notice the ground. Looks like there's more that you're writing here, so I will let you finish that. More important, for a fibrillation event, call for, get an AD, call for 911, and get CPR. Sure, of course, yes. Make sure somebody is able to do that. And then, of course, you want to get on there. 3 kilometers tall is way past regulation for inclusion in the NBA. It's way past regulation for inclusion in everything. Wow, xenophobic God. I mean, he does have a favorite people, you know. As one electrical engineer put it, lightning has just jumped a 10-mile air gap. It's not going to care about your proxy bit of rubber. That's probably, yeah, that's pretty true. The goat, cool. I mean, I don't know what you want. Joe Biden is a shill for the Illuminati. Cool. Not sure what that has to do with the Book of Enoch. Okay. Let's see. Alika, why don't I believe? It very short answer is just I don't see any evidence pointing to any of the gods. So that's all it is. All right. So we're going to chapter 60. Please correct me if I'm saying these incorrectly. It's been a while since I've had to use Roman numerals. This is like the most common time. So, quaking of the heaven, the Behemoth and Leviathan, and the elements. So this is going to be very interesting. For those of you who aren't aware of the Behemoth and the Leviathan, these are like giant animals in the Bible, and they have been curiously translated. I think the most interesting one, comes from Answers in Genesis, that talks about it as like a brachiosaurus. So those are pretty interesting. Very curious to see how the Book of Enoch portrays this. All right. Let's see. What's pointing to no God? Asks Alika. Alika never said there was no God. That's all. Just said I don't have a belief. That's all. I'm not saying I believe there is no God. It's sort of like if I flip a coin and I say, do you believe that it's heads? Do you agree with me that the answer, that the face that's showing is going to be heads? And you say no. Does that mean you believe it's tails? No, you're just not sure. You just don't have like a set answer because, there's just no evidence pointing that it must be heads or it must be tails. So you're just not sure and not going to believe that it's heads or tails until you have evidence for it. Usually in this case you would just need to look at it. Roman numerals can be killed. Let's see. Or killer, yeah. Joe Biden is a lizard person high priestess. Again, great, but not sure if you guys want to talk about Joe Biden and the Illuminati. feel free to do that in the Discord. I'll make sure to give you guys a link to that. It always amazes me how there's like usually one person that will just start talking politics. Cool. There it is. And for those of you that, let's see, you're not right. I've defended God against UFO maniacs, T-jump atheists, not sure what that means, and Muslims all day. Today, God is real. Cool, Alika. That's great. I don't know. Let's put it up to the chat. Do you guys want to have a double thing going on with the let's talk about Alika's evidence for God and let's talk about the Book of Enoch? Or are we just wanting to focus on the Book of Enoch? We can do both. I don't mind. It's a live stream. It's fun. But yeah, if you want to bring your I mean, prove me wrong, Alika, you gotta prove your case first, okay? Well, you want me to prove you wrong that God is real, you gotta first provide evidence that God is real, right? That's what you have to do first, yeah. Alright. Don't feed the trolls. Okay. Alright. So, I don't know if this person is trolling. You know what I mean? I don't know if they're trolling. You're here for Enoch. Okay, so Alika, it looks like you can join the Discord and talk about your evidence for God there. Where is my... Oh, that was the wrong... Sorry, that was the wrong link. God answered your prayers. I mean, again, you have to demonstrate that. That was the old link. We're going to go ahead and remove that. Cool. We're going to be doing this other one. So Seabird, looks like you joined. You want to go to this one here. Sorry, there is an old one that I'm trying to phase out. Never, no limit, new link. Cool. So we want to go to here. Okay. Personal experience is not science. Yeah, that's definitely true, right? What is it? The plural of anecdote is not data. But yeah, so Alika, you can go there. I don't think you're trolling. I said I didn't think you were trolling. Okay? So just make sure that you... I mean, it's an Enoch live stream. If they didn't come here for that, it seems to be trollish in nature. So Alika, I think that's what Jeremy's trying to say, is that you're trying to derail this discussion. In that sense, you're trolling. Not that you're lying or just doing this to be a jerk, but we're trying to have a discussion about the Book of Enoch, and you're trying to derail it. So please go ahead and go to... Yeah, I just posted that Discord. So go there. You can discuss it there. There's a section. There's a channel there. If you want to talk about religion for monotheism specifically. So it's like towards the bottom for study stuff. Or you want to talk about ask a question or something like that, that's okay too. So you can definitely have the discussion there. Yeah. So hopefully that's good. So, you know, we're just asking you to go to the appropriate place. Yeah, absolutely. So I just want you to know, Alika, I'm not trying to shut you down. I'm just saying, just to move along. And we can have a chat as a live stream or a video, and we can go back and forth and have a discussion. That's totally fine too. So in the year 500, in the 7th month, on the 14th day of the month in the life of Enoch. Enoch is old. How many of you want to live to be 500, assuming that your body is physically capable of still putting you around, and you know, you're not relying on people and just like this frail mummy of a human, right? So this is pretty fun stuff. The year 500. You know, why not share some really good insight about stuff? And I guess this is what Enoch is sharing. So in the parable, I saw how the mighty quaking made the heavens of heavens to quake. And the host of the Most High and the angels, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000. We love that exact language. We're disquieted with a great disquiet child. And I know I said I'm not your English teacher, but if you're trying to turn this stuff in to my class, I'd be just putting a question mark next to How descriptive. Thank you. It was disquieted with a great disquiet. You know, I've had a student, you know, I said, so let's define government. And I always have one of the students that's like, oh, a thing that governs. And I'm like, that's great. Fantastic. You want to come teach the class? Because you obviously don't need me anymore. You know, just as a joke. And it's like a running joke through the class, through the year. There's always one student that's very literal like that. And it's always fun. This just reminds me of that. So what was disquieting them? Oh, something that was a disquiet. Oh, okay. So the head of days sat down on the throne of his glory. The head of days, again, is another phrase for Yahweh. And the angels and the righteous stood around him. And a great trembling seized me, a fear took hold of me, and my loins gave way, and dissolved were my reins, and I fell upon my face. Now my loins gave way. I'm not sure if he's saying that he urinated on himself, or what I'm thinking he's saying is that he was weakened and he fell down. Has that ever happened to anybody, that you've been so overcome with emotion that you actually collapsed? That has happened to me once. That is when I got the news of my sibling's death. I collapsed to the ground. So this idea, reading this, I'm just kind of reminded to that moment that I had. So that must have been like a severe fear that Enoch has witnessed or believes he's witnessed. Let's see what you got for the chat. That's okay, Nathan. Your dog ate your Bible. That's fine. We don't need the Bible for this because we're studying the Apocrypha. So don't worry. Let's see. 500 is the new 400. Right. I thought I was old at 39. We are not old at 39. Wait a minute, do we know the calendar they're depending on for the dating method? We do not. It's not specified here. But this idea of the elders living very, very ancient, not ancient, but really hundreds of years. This was not, this is not like unique to the Book of Enoch. It's not unique to the Old Testament. This is kind of a thing that was done for religious work, but also for like legends or mythology type stuff. This was done in that region at that time. And so this idea that the people of the past had lived these really old ages, this was just like part of it. It's sort of like when we talk about superheroes, most of them have the ability to fly, right? That's just something we accept for a superhero. Or that they have super strength, or they can heal very quickly. We don't need a backstory for that. We just kind of accept this is a thing. When the Hulk jumps so far, it's as if he's flying. We just kind of accept that's a thing. That's just part of how we look at our superheroes. That's kind of how it was when we're looking at our cultural elders. They're just old. That's just what they are. That's just kind of, it's, hopefully that analogy helps. It was just one of those things that was just taken for granted. This is what it is. Yeah, so hopefully that helps out a bit. His loins were weakened, as the text says. People faint in case of stress, good or bad. Faint when they meet the beetles, faint when they hear a child is dead, etc. If I overcome them, yes, my loins. Wow, Chris, be careful with that. I'd like to live to 500, only if I know exactly when I die. I feel old at 28. I'm sorry that you guys are feeling old at these ages. I once felt weak in the knees in a nightmare with Chucky. It was pretty intense. So yeah, that's the kind of fear that we're looking for. So Enoch collapses, falls upon his face. And Michael, or like I've been pronouncing it here, Michael, sends another angel from among the holy ones, and he raised me up. And when he had raised me up, my spirit returned, for I had not been able to endure the look of this host, and the commotion, and the quaking of heaven. So basically, Michael, the angel, is like getting another angel, like, pick this guy up. So this other angel just lifts up Enoch, and Enoch's like, oh man. So it's kind of a fun, again, this is such a flowery writing for our modern times, but that's, essentially what we want to be thinking, that Enoch is having a very human response to something that is so supernatural. So Michael said unto me, why art thou disquieted with such a vision? Until this day lasted the day of his mercy, and he hath been merciful and long-suffering towards those who dwell on the earth. And when the day and the power and the punishment and the judgment come, which the Lord of spirits hath prepared for those who worship not the righteous law, and for those who deny the righteous judgment, and for those who take his name in vain, that day is prepared, and for the elect a covenant, but for the sinners an inquisition. So basically all of this is saying, again, if this is a bit muddy for you, basically Michael is saying, listen, what's the big deal? You know that these people are going to be punished. You know that Yahweh is righteous and he's going to do what he does, and why are you so bothered by this? Which is, I guess, Michael, learn to read the room. You're an angel and you're trying to talk to this regular guy, and he sees the total utter destruction of his species, and you're just like, come on, man, you should know better. why does this bother you? Come on, Michael, have a little empathy. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. I'm biased, Alika. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not biased, but I'm not sure what's wrong. What did I say that's terribly inaccurate, I guess, is my what's terribly inaccurate here. I'm trying to, explain what's going on. If you think it's a bit too average, regular, everyday, I'm not sure. It's the medical wing of the angel corps, right? Can you imagine being an angel, created as an angel, purely just to be the fainting human catcher? I don't think he's the fainting human catcher. I think it's just like Michael's just not touching this guy. You're not an angel and you can't put yourself in an angel's shoes. Oh, yep. And I guess just as I'm saying, the angel cannot put himself in... I mean, are we really having this discussion? The angel can't put himself in Enoch's shoes, right? We just said he witnessed the destruction of his species, and he collapsed, and Michael's like, what's up? Why are you being a baby? That is a bit lacking empathy. Perhaps there's some grand angelic thing that I just really don't understand. But remember, we are reading this as if these are characters. Okay, we're not necessarily reading it as if we believe that there are really angels out there. If you believe that, that's up to you. If you want to take this a different way, feel free. Of course, you can always discuss it in the Discord. You can make your other videos about it. But if you're going to be upset that I'm not an angel, so I can't know the minds of angels and therefore cannot possibly interpret or understand this discussion on angels, then why even read the Book of Enoch, right? Oh, it can put itself in human shoes. Okay. I'm making a joke out of it. I'm not making a joke out of it. How is that making a joke? We're having fun. That's not making a joke out of it. I mean, the angel lacks empathy in a very marked way, a very obvious way. I'm not sure that's a joke. All right. She's reading a book, not a historical book. In a human's shoes, they put themselves in humans' genitals. That's the case according to the Book of Enoch. That's for sure. All right, verse 25. When the punishment of the Lord of spirits shall rest upon them, it shall rest in order that the punishment of the Lord of spirits may not come in vain, and that it shall slay the children with their mothers and the children with their fathers. Afterwards the judgment shall be taking place according to his mercy and his patience. Like I said, Enoch, why are you bothered? It's just the murder of your species. That's a bit, again, Michael got to read the room. Okay. Who wrote Enoch? Enoch is supposed to have written Enoch. That's the belief here. is that he had visions, and then he wrote those visions down. And whenever the book of Enoch is referred to in the Bible, it's only a couple times, but they do refer to it as Enoch. So like he's one of the elders like Elijah. So that's the idea here. The empathy thing, it's a great way to illustrate the aloofness of a truly greater power. Exactly. That's a perfect way to put it. That's exactly what I was thinking. This idea that they're so powerful they don't even get it. It's sort of like a person that's very rich wondering why a very poor person is distraught and crying that their last $5 was burned. You know, what's the big deal? It's just $5. You know, it's that kind of thing. What's the big deal? It's just humans. Whatever. Not a big deal. All right. Does Mikhail have hands? That is the real question. It's not specified. Maybe that's why he's not physically grabbing, but I would assume he could like magic Enoch up, right? I am Bach. We want to not necessarily talk about those sexual things. You know, if we're talking about it in like an academic or this literature sense, then that's okay. But we do want to make sure that this is minor appropriate. All right. Let's see. Cool. All right. Some parts of this distantly remind me of the book of Isaiah. So this is going to be referenced or referencing or explaining what's going on in Genesis with the Noah's flood. Okay. So on that day, there were two monsters parted. So we're talking about monsters. Okay. So somebody call Ken Ham and let him know this is not a brachiosaurus, okay? A female monster named Leviathan to dwell in the abyss of the ocean over the fountains of the waters. Remember, the waters have these fountains that feed them from the four corners of the earth, and then they also run off the earth. So that, remember, the earth is flat, has a dome over it, and the waters run off of it as well. So they are let out, but also let in. Remember, we talked about the clouds. If you guys weren't with us, the clouds come into, and same with the sun and also the moon, they come into the dome. So the dome opens up, they come in, pass through, and then the dome opens up again and they exit. And that's how they go through it. So this is that old belief. So this is what they're talking about. Not only the depths of the ocean, but also where the waters start coming in to the dome. So that's what we're talking about. The male is named Behemoth, who occupied with his breast a waste wilderness named Duidain. Obviously mispronouncing that, I do apologize. On the east of the garden where the elect and righteous dwell, where my grandfather was taken up, the seventh from Adam, we're talking about Elijah, and the first man whom the Lord of spirits created. So again, we have monsters. Like monsters. Okay? This is not an angel. This is not a demon. This is not a euphemism. This is not some literary choice. You know, they're monsters. Okay, so we have Leviathan and we have Behemoth. Okay. Let's see. I think Enoch would be offended if he knew they left him out of the canon. I don't, now for me personally, I think the Book of Enoch was only left out because the Bible was assembled long before the Book of Enoch was rediscovered. So the Book of Enoch was found in the early 1900s. I believe it was with the Nag Hammadi and all of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So that's the only reason I think it was left out. I think this would have been a very good book to include. It just explains so much. So I definitely, if I was on the council, I would have definitely included the Book of Enoch, but I also would have included the Infancy Gospel of James and possibly the Gospel of Judas, but not really. So, who created the monsters? God. I mean, he creates everything, but that's what it appears to be here. Leviathan was described as female, right, because they talk about that big swinging tail, don't they? But I think that might be for Behemoth. And I besought the other angel that he should show me the might of those monsters and how they were parted on one day and cast, one into the abysses of the sea and the other into the dry of the wilderness. And he said to me, Thou son of man, herein thou dost seek to know what is hidden. Lots of hidden knowledge seems to be very, very important to what's going on in the Book of Enoch. Remember, when the Watchers had passed on their knowledge, like the knowledge of metallurgy and the knowledge of herbs, they were upsetting Yahweh because Yahweh had given them this knowledge to withhold from the humans. And Yahweh had also explained, I didn't even give you enough knowledge, so the knowledge you gave the humans was only partial knowledge. So even these Watchers that had to almost be like a library in a way, that they had to hold certain parts of knowledge, Yahweh didn't even give them complete knowledge. So it's very... I'm trying to think of like an analogy. I think Coca-Cola, the secret recipe is only known to like 2 people. So if you're here, you have almost all the knowledge for Coca-Cola, but then like the CEO still didn't give you all the knowledge. It's that kind of a thing. There's a lot of secret knowledge that's going on here. This is very reminiscent of like Gnostics. That's what I'm getting a lot of reminder of. This idea that there is hidden knowledge. There's celestial knowledge, there's this secret knowledge, which, I'm not saying is good or bad, it's just something that we see in different types of religions and also different sects of what these religions later became, like Christianity. Let's see. Why would you include it? I would include it because, yeah, as you said, the canonical book authors reference it. Absolutely. This is referenced. Like the ideas of hell and Judgment Day and stuff, this is referenced later on in the Bible. So it just makes sense for this to be here. Aren't all these monsters in the movie Beowulf? I haven't seen or read Beowulf, so I can't say. So one thing here is these 2 monsters being parted. I'm not sure if they're hanging out together and they're being parted, or if they were one entity that got parted into a male and female version. So this is not emphasized, and I think we should kind of leave an open mind that it could be either of those. Let's see. And the other angel who went with me and showed me what was hidden told me what is the first and the last in heaven in the height, and beneath the earth in the depth, and at the ends of the heaven on the foundation of heaven. So again, we have that flat earth with a dome thing. That's what they're talking about, beneath the earth as well. But they also could be talking about like caves, okay? And the chambers of the winds and how the winds are divided. Remember, the winds are outside of the dome, and then there's a part of the dome that opens up and the winds come in. Okay, so that's what he's talking about here. How they're weighed, how the portals of the winds are reckoned, and according to the power of the wind, and the power of the lights of the moon, and accordance to the power it is fitting, divisions of the stars, and how the divisions are divided. Again, we're getting that very, that fun phrasing. So again, we're just revisiting that. This is nothing new. We read this in the previous chapters. All right. And the thunders, according to the places where they fall, and the divisions that are among the lightnings may lighten the hosts that they once obey. For the thunder has places of rests while it's waiting for its peal, and the thunder and the lightning are inseparable. I would not agree with that, right? Although not one and undivided, they both go together through the Spirit and separate not. I mean, how many of you have heard thunder kind of rumbling without seeing lightning, right? When the lightning lightens and the thunder utters its voice, and the Spirit enforces a pause during the peal and divides equally for them, for the treasury of their peals is like sand, and each one of them is peals held within a bridle, turned back by the power of the Spirit. So again, all this is really saying is that the thunder and lightning are commanded. That's it. They're not like a natural phenomenon. They are a thing that is used for blessings, for curses, to emphasize something, to highlight something. So that's really what we're talking about here. It's just very clunky, in my opinion. But that's what they're talking about. But this is interesting here. So for Enoch, perhaps he's never seen lightning and thunder. That's never happened, or that's never been inseparable. perhaps he's never seen certain types of lightning. He wasn't aware that there are certain types of lightning that might flash, but you don't actually hear any thunder from your point of view or your perspective, or that you can sometimes hear thunder without seeing that flash of lightning, because there's something that's going on more in the clouds as opposed to something that you can see from your vantage point on Earth. So it's fun that he writes this in here, because we were talking about that personal experience thing. So this is an interesting one, how he's talking about how they're totally inseparable, but you know, he wasn't aware of some stuff, so you can't talk about these things as a general rule if you're not actually aware of them fully. So it is a bit of a problem in some of these old texts. Which chapter is this? This chapter, I believe, was 60, 61, 60. All right. Let's see. You guys are talking about Beowulf? No, no, we didn't read it. Only old people can read Old English. I mean, we know I'm old. Let's see. Looks like Beowulf's at the top of this list. Yeah, Shugel, maybe we can read it, or we can have like a book club or something in the Discord. That might be fun. All right. So the spirit of the sea is masculine and strong. Interesting, because Leviathan is there, and Leviathan's the female. Okay. And according to the might of his strength, he draws it back with a rein, and in like manner it is driven forward and disperses amid all the mountains of the earth. So again, we're talking about the flood. That's what we're talking about here. And the spirit of the hoarfrost is his own angel. The spirit of hail is a good angel. That's interesting, because hail tends to be quite destructive, or can be. So this is really, really reminding me again of that polytheist kind of thing, right? There's a god of rain, and there's a god of the sea, and there's a god of this, and there's a god of that, but now we're just calling it an angel, or we're calling it a spirit. So this really seems, it's what, like monotheism by barely technicality. You know what I mean? It's like, there's that meme about like, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but change it a little bit so the teacher doesn't know, and then it shows something that was like a poor copy of something else. That's kind of what it reminds me of here. And the spirit of snow has forsaken his chambers on account of his strength. There is a special spirit therein, and it ascends from it like smoke, and its name is Frost. So we have the Frost spirit. I mean, this is very... I don't know. Are you guys getting that same kind of feeling that we're just... I forget the type of religious literature it is, but it's the type of literature that it's supposed to explain phenomena and how it happens, but it's very anthropomorphized in a way. This is really reminding me of that, for sure. My voice is getting a bit froggy. Just a second. All right. So what do we have here? She was dead naming Leviathan. Maybe. Alika says, shut up. Alika, I don't know how you found this place or this live stream. I'm happy to have you here, but you do want to be a bit contributing to the discussion. If you want us to shut up, you can go to a different video. You know what I mean? That's yeah. And I don't know what you want. I mean, if this is your quality of discussion, then I'm not sure you even want to go to the group chat. I don't want your opinion. Okay, goodbye. If you would like to read it, then I would like to listen. So this is a live stream, so we're having a discussion and stuff. So if you want to read it, then you can read it yourself. But we are doing commentary on it, especially for the people that have a bit of trouble with this type of English, because there are people here where English is not their first language. So we are kind of explaining it and just kind of discussing it. That's all. This is a discussion. If that's not what you're interested in, totally okay. But don't tell me to shut up and read it directly because that's what you prefer. That doesn't really make any sense. All right. Why are you attributing your opinion? Because I'm a human being. And I've read this and I've studied this stuff too, so that would be why. SJ, welcome. Have you missed much? We are starting to talk about Noah. That's what we're starting to talk about. So we did just start this section, and basically Enoch is having a time. He's just witnessing more stuff. All right. Definitely polytheistic. I don't know the origins of the Book of Enoch very well, but I was just thinking how post-Christianity fairy tales would be subsumed into Christian themes. So this is actually predating Christianity, the Book of Enoch does. We just don't find it as a society until very recently, in the 1900s. So this actually does predate Christianity, but of course a lot of religions borrow from each other. And so that's why I'm saying this seems like, if you want it to be monotheistic, be monotheistic. Let God be in control of all of this. But the idea that, oh yeah, we don't have many gods, we just have angels, that just seems very lazy, I would say, right? We're not even changing much. It just seems a bit lazy. All right. So the spirit of the mist, they're talking about all of these things have their own chambers. We have a spirit of dew and a spirit of rain. And then, of course, we talked about the winter and summer, and then the clouds and how that cycle kind of happens inside and outside of the dome. So the spirit of rain goes forth from its chamber. The angels come and open the chamber and lead it out. And when it's diffused over the whole earth, it unites with the water on the earth. So we're talking about just all of the types of bodies of water. And this is where the flooding is happening, which seems a bit strange that we're even going into this, right? Enoch, what was the point? Again, if I was grading this as a teacher, I would just put a big question mark and saying, is this relevant to your discussion? So we're talking about the flood and how the flood happened, but he's talking about the frost and the hail and the mist. We're really wanting the water, the rain mixing with the waters on earth. So I just would have been like, this is not relevant. When the spirit of the rain goes forth from its chamber, the angels come and open the chamber, lead it out. Okay, and whensoever it unites with the water on the earth. For the waters are for those who dwell on the earth, for they are nourishment for the earth from the Most High who is in heaven. Therefore there is a measure of rain, the angels take charge. That's interesting. So there's a spirit of the rain, but there's also angels that have to control the rain, which is interesting. So this also is a very interesting way to put it, at least in my opinion. This idea that the water that's supposed to be a benefit for humans, now it's going to be used as a curse for humans. That thing that was supposed to help you is the thing that destroys you. I think it's almost a bit sick, isn't it? Almost a bit sick. All right. You can get a free trial of Audible if you want an opinion-free read. I recommend Audible. I think it's great. I wish I had a code to give you guys. I don't. I'm re-listening to the Quran on there. It's very difficult to listen to. If you guys are interested in a Quran live stream or study, we can do that. It's much shorter than the Bible, so we can blast through that a bit easier, and it's super repetitive. So, it's amazing how magical thought saturated so much of an ancient Hebrew worldview. Absolutely. There was so much magic. Magic food from heaven, magic rain, and magic lights, and magic everything. Really magic. Moses performing magic, right? I knew it was pre-Christian, but that is a very late discovery. Yes, so Dominique, that's what I had mentioned earlier about, I think this should have been put in the Bible, and probably would have been if it was discovered by the people that had assembled the Bible. Alika, you can read Enoch yourself with the interpretations from a young woman. I'm a young woman now, only on the internet do people call me a young woman. I don't know what it is. Can you guys not see my wrinkles? I don't think 39 is very young. But thank you. If you guys want my skin routine, maybe I'll drop it in the Discord. Let's see. That's why monotheism was fairly unique to Israel. Sort of. Because we did have Zoroastrianism before that, right? And the Zoroastrianism, I don't know if you would really consider that monotheism, because Ahura Mazda was a god, but then there was also the negative god. So there's a positive god and negative god. I don't know if I would really consider that monotheism. But this was really trying to be monotheism, except it was just like, no, they're not gods, they're angels. That's how it's monotheism. Okay. Lee's giving some clues on how to pass her English class. Julian, I don't have an English class, but I'm saying if you wrote an essay for my classes, because sometimes you got to write essays for class. I'm sorry, I really hate grading them and I really hate giving them, but sometimes they're just necessary. Yeah, I do, and I tell my students this. I tell them, please don't do this. Here are some examples of what not to do, and I swear there's always one. There's always one. I love them. All right. Let's use economical instead of lazy. That's good. What's my Discord? The link again is right here. All right, 39, just the pup. I'm 41, yeah, just the pup. Do you believe you are wiser than people who believe in God? In what way? I'm wiser in things that I have experience in, but that's it. Not wiser, like, just to say, oh, then somebody who believes in God. There's people that are wiser than me in all kinds of capacities, and they also believe in a God. That's such an arrogant thing to say, that just because someone believes in a God, that in any possible topic, I'm automatically wiser to them. That's not something I believe. All right. I'm not wiser than a child. Alika, so again, I'm not sure why you're being so rude. You know, if this is your... I don't want to just kick you out. I want to let you be here, but you have to behave, okay? I mean, the fact that you're just being mean because you don't like something, you know? I mean, if this is your quality of discussion, then you probably don't even want to post in the Discord, because it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, if this is your quality of discussion. I'm not attacking your beliefs. I don't know what your beliefs are. Is this your belief? That there's Leviathan and Behemoth? Those are your beliefs? I'm not attacking them. How is this attacking them? By saying, well, this was an economical use. Okay, this isn't attacking. I'm not saying you're stupid because your beliefs are dumb and they're false. Nobody's attacking your belief. The fact that critically analyzing the text, you interpret that as an attack on your belief, that is telling. That's something you should analyze. She's a troll. It's non-canonical. Stop attributing them to me. I'm not attributing them to you, Alika. Alika, you came here and we're having a reading, okay? If this is, look, Alika, I'm just going to send you on your way. I think this is you are far too emotional, emotionally invested for some reason. I don't know why. Again, you're welcome to try to talk in the Discord. Please be polite, is all I can say. We don't tolerate people being rude because they chose to interpret criticism, constructive criticism or legitimate criticism as an attack. Okay, again, this is unfortunate. Yeah. All right, looks like we are cool. Awesome. Non-canonical. Stop attributing them to me. That was so weird. When did I say that accidentally? Oh, Alika, you must believe in this non-canonical thing because you're a Christian. All right. May you join the Discord? Absolutely. You're welcome to do that. There's the link again. Anybody can do that, but again, please be respectful, first of all. Of course, you guys can have constructive criticism, debate, and all that. Just be respectful. And then also use language that's safe for minors. Cool. All right. So we've got the spirit, we've got the reigns, we've got all this stuff dwelling on Earth. Somehow Alika is still trying to post, so we're just going to go ahead and put this user in timeout. Maybe that'll work a little bit better. Cool. Not sure why. It's like you don't want to be here. You're mad being here. You were sent on your way and you're still insisting to be here. Just so weird. So weird. Is this what people think will convert us to Christianity? All right. Let's see. So I saw these things towards the garden of the righteous, and the angel of peace who was with me said, these two monsters, prepared conformably to the greatness of God, shall feed, ... Ooh, we got a cliffhanger. First of all, weird. Angel of peace is telling me about the two monsters of disruption. Okay. Interesting. So the angels go off to measure paradise, the judgment of the righteous by the elect one, the praise of the elect one, and God. Measuring paradise, not sure how, but let's check it out. It looks like the ... was damaged source text. So it looks like we just really do have a cliffhanger. So that's unfortunate. And in those days, how long cords were given to those angels, and they took to themselves wings and flew, and they went towards the north. And I asked the angel, now I love that Enoch keeps asking these questions. I asked the angel, saying unto him, why did those angels taken these cords and gone off? And he said to me, they have gone to measure. I mean, wouldn't Yahweh know the distance? Let's see what they're measuring. And the angel who went with me and said unto me, these shall bring the measures of the righteous, and the ropes of the righteous to the righteous. There we go with that speak again. And may they stay themselves on the name of the Lord of spirits forever and ever. The elect shall begin to dwell with the elect, and those are the measures which shall be given to faith, and which shall strengthen righteousness. And these measures shall reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth, and those who have been destroyed by the desert, and those who have been devoured by the beasts, and those who have been devoured by the fish of the sea. They may return and stay themselves on the day of the elect one, for none shall be destroyed before the Lord of spirits, and none can be destroyed. So this is actually still a belief in Christianity today. Possibly Islam, but perhaps not as literally, that on the day of judgment, if you are judged as righteous, your body reassembles. So that's what they're doing here. They are recovering the bodies of the people that have been destroyed by the desert, devoured by beasts, or devoured by the fish of the sea. Interesting, it doesn't mention any other type of really devastating death, like being crushed by lava or volcanic ash. All right. There's a new setting where you can make people subscribe for 5 minutes before they can comment. Oh, that's interesting. I would like to know if I'd be willing to be a guest on the show. Yeah, sure, Neil. Message me on the Discord. Angel of peace, is there an angel of war? Girl, it seems like every angel of war. You know what I mean? Like the knots measuring the speed of a boat, the demon horse. Have fun. Oh no, it's that guy. All right. And all those who dwell above the heaven have received a command and a power and one voice and one light like unto fire. And remember, these are the people that are dwelling, not the people, the angels and the spirits that are dwelling in the heavens. Because, again, you don't go to heaven as a human or to hell until, or just be destroyed, until Judgment Day. So Judgment Day hasn't really happened yet. And the one with their first words they blessed and extolled and lauded with wisdom, and they were wise in utterance and in the spirit of life. And the Lord of spirits placed the elect ones on the throne of glory, and he shall judge all the works of the holy above the heaven, and in the balance their deeds be weighed. So again, we're just judging. It seems like it's either destroying or judging. That's really what the Book of Enoch seems to be about. So he's judging everyone again, judging according to his righteousness, which is Yahweh, which is stated here as the Lord of spirits. And everyone is going to speak together and bless Yahweh. That's it. He's very, loves that blessing stuff, doesn't he? Can you imagine you create these beings with souls in hopes that you can scare them into following you so that when they die, the souls are before you again, constantly praising you for the rest of eternity. And this is not a Book of Enoch thing. This is just repeated so many times in the book of Enoch, which is why I'm talking about it. This is definitely still a Christian belief today. It seems like such a waste, doesn't it? What a waste of time, right? Just build like a big holy mirror and preen yourself in front of it, you know? It just seems like such a waste of time. All right. Peace gets an angel, war gets a horse. I don't know. Why would that be unfair? And he will summon all the hosts of the heavens and the holy ones above, and the host of God, the cherubic, seraphim, and ophanim. These are different classes of angels, by the way. And all the angels of power, and all the angels of principalities, and the elect ones. So again, these are all like levels of angels, very similar to things like the different types of gods, the demigods, and the special humans. You know what I mean? On that day shall raise one voice and bless. How is Alika still jumping in here? Jeez. Try doing the hide user on this channel, but that's still not it. It's just very annoying. I mean, the other thing that would happen is just we've gotta just what? Ignore, right? Just ignore. If because usually when you remove the user, it just removes them, like it blocks them from the channel. So I'm not sure why this isn't working with Alika, but you know, if they want to have a little tantrum because they're frustrated, then how can we deal with it, right? I've heard of a few successful. So you guys are talking about male circumcision. Cool. Not sure why, but have at it. All right. I think we're reaching the meat of the text. That's what I think too. She was banished, yet she has risen, the chosen one. That's right. So a tantrum against God. Oh, here's Alika again. All right. So, Alika, just to take one step aside, just for a second, Alika, these comments that you're giving in no way demonstrate that your God is real. And that's what you have to remember. You being rude and saying these ridiculous things and being frustrated that my live stream isn't exactly as you had hoped, this doesn't prove your God. And so if this is that quality of argument that you're talking about to prove God today to so many people, they must have just got annoyed with you. You know what I mean? And just said, okay, whatever, you're right, goodbye. That's not it. So if you want to have a legitimate discussion, again, go to the Discord. If you hate that I'm reading this, go away. But you being here and throwing a tantrum and taking everything so personally, like a personal attack, is just really not helping your case. And in fact, you're making yourself look like that Christian stereotype of somebody who's illogical, irrational, and just angry. So you're really doing yourself more harm than good. And I'm recommending that you go to a place where you might be able to have a legitimate discussion. So that's up to you. All right. I want a better reading from Enoch. I don't want your opinion. Go away. Then why are you here? Why do you keep staying around and coming back? I mean, go do the better reading. Go do that. That's such a weird. That's so weird. It's like if we were physically in front of each other, I feel like Alika would literally be hitting me with a Bible until I just said, "Oh my gosh, okay, go away." That's what I feel like. Yeah, it's not about you, right? Alika's seems to be very thinking this whole thing is for her, that we're attacking her, and I'm just very, very weird. Nobody knows or cares who you are, Alika. All right. So we're summoning all the different levels of angels, okay? And on that day, there's a voice that's blessing, glorifying, blessed is he. This is still strange because we're still just talking about the end of like the judgment portion. So we're just talking about a bunch of people like physically or spiritually in front of Yahweh and just constantly praising him. Again, it just seems very odd. And if I was a person at this time reading or listening to the Book of Enoch, or listening to Enoch and what he had to say, I mean, really, is this something that you would be wanting to convert for? If, all things considered equal, and you believe there's different gods, and that Yahweh is just one of the gods, right? That's how a lot of people believed back then. Is this an afterlife that you'd be like, man, I'm going to convert to this religion, to just stand in front of a throne and keep saying, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome for all eternity? I mean, at least the other religions and the other gods have some cool stuff. Even just continuing your life after you die, just like a regular life, but it's in a spiritual capacity as opposed to a physical capacity. This seems like a very, very boring afterlife. So I'm not sure why Enoch keeps repeating it as if it's like, I don't know, this must have been part of his vision or his dream, because this is not something that would convince me to convert to Enoch's version of religion. All right. I really wanted to become Christian today, but a leak would talk me out of it. Oh goodness. Let's see. All right. How have I not seen this channel yet? Welcome, Mason. Love that name. Don't know why. I've always loved the name Mason. Welcome. Literally just stumbled here. Cool. Did you stumble here from YouTube? Did you stumble here from Twitter? Did you stumble here from Instagram? Just please let me know. That would be helpful. Oh, you subbed years ago. Okay, that explains it. All right. Thank you, Neil. Let's see. Nathan, apparently you were taken very literally. All right. So the judgment of the kings and the mighty. Now this is very strange. The reason I'm saying this is strange is because we can go back to this section here. So we're supposed to be looking at the book of Noah. That's what we're looking at, and here's where we're ending. It looks like it ended here for 69, but it's actually in 71, so I do have to change the thumbnail. But it looks like this is supposed to be about Noah, but honestly, this is very similar to a lot of the stuff we've read. The judgment of the kings and the mighty. Let me guess that the kings thought they were awesome, but they're not, and they're going to be judged. And thus the Lord commanded the kings and the mighty and the exalted, and those who dwell on the earth, and said, open your eyes and lift up your horns if you are able to recognize the elect one. The horns, we're talking about like for jubilation, okay? We're not talking about like horns, okay? The Lord of spirits seated on the throne in pure glory, the spirit of righteousness was poured out upon him, which is interesting, right? That Yahweh isn't righteous in and of himself. There's a separate spirit of righteousness that's got to like wash over him every so often. And the word of his mouth slays all the sinners. Let's see. For some reason, Paul and Neil, this is hid in your comments, so I unhid them. All right, revealed them. And the unrighteous are destroyed from before his face. So again, this is that pre-hell concept, that either you continue to live after you die, or you're just gone. And this is found in other religious beliefs as well, just like the ancient Egyptian belief. Either you could navigate through from your tomb to the underworld or to the afterlife, or you couldn't, and for whatever reason you were killed, or you fell off the bridge and you just went into nothingness. So this is not a new concept. And there shall stand up in that day all the kings and the mighty, and the exalted, and those who hold on earth, and they shall recognize how he sits on the throne of his glory, and righteousness is judged before him, and no lying word is spoken before him. And we've talked about this in other chapters before, and just how this seems very like something a bitter human would write. He thinks he's so great. Well, he's going to get what's coming to him. It's just this bitterness, it seems to be. You think you're so amazing. Well, you'll see. Okay. Let's see. And the pain shall come upon them as on a woman in travail, and she has pain in bringing forth when a child enters the mouth of the womb. When her child enters the mouth of the womb, and she has pain in bringing forth. So I guess if you're a queen, this is not going to be a big punishment. Right? I'm assuming you, as a queen, you bear children, right? So if that's all this is it's a bunch of pain as if you're giving birth. I guess all the queens are fine. It's a bit annoying, but it's something you can deal with. But for the kings, it's gonna be like this totally new pain, I guess. And one portion of them shall look upon the other, or shall look on the other, and they shall be terrified, and they shall be downcast of countenance. Again, countenance, for those of you that aren't familiar with that phrase, it's just your face. So they'll be their faces down. And pain shall seize them when they see the Son of Man sitting on the throne of his glory. So it's not enough to just die, right? You have to be suffering. You have to be in pain. You have to be humiliated. Petty, 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 right? This is very petty. And again, is this going to really convince me that Enoch is correct, right? Because that's why we write this stuff down. We write this stuff down to share information and in hopes that people will be saved by it. That's where a lot of these religious writings come from, or why they're written down. Is this really going to convince anybody? Does this seem like it's true? Does this have a nugget of truth to it? All right, so let's see what we have here. Most people who read the Bible or the scriptures end up atheists. Yeah, I would say so. Let's see. I am a holder of the gospel. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I can hold the gospel too. We can go to blb.org. We can all behold the gospel. Let's see. No lying word before him. He gets to say all the lying words. That's true. That's true. Yahweh in the Bible is a liar. And that's, like, he admits to being a liar. He also creates evil, which is interesting. Where can I find what you're reading from? The online version, I see for chapter 62 are different. I'd like to follow along. Yes, I will just give you the link right here. So we are using the Book of Enoch in sacredtexts.com. This is just the most straightforward read that I've found. So that's why we're using this. Let's see. All right. And the kings and the mighty and all who possess the earth shall bless and glorify and extol him who rules over all, who was hidden. Well, is that really fair if he was hidden? Of course you didn't know him. He was hidden. So it's like so not only are the secrets in hiding, but Yahweh's in hiding too. Like, my head is getting a bit, okay, for those of you guys that don't know, I do get migraines, so I'm going to see if this is okay. I'm going to turn the light off. Hopefully, I've got this, like, reflector here and the daylight coming through. Hopefully, that's doable. Okay, seems to balance the color. Cool. I just didn't want, like, the darkness. All right. So, seems a bit weird, right? And also, it's pretty hard to bless, glorify, and extol somebody if you're twisting and writhing in pain, right? I'm thinking about, actually, this week I've had the worst migraines of the year. So this idea that I would be physically capable of, like, blessing somebody, it would almost just be not even sarcastic, but just like, please stop hurting me. It wouldn't be a genuine blessing. So this is odd. From the beginning, the Son of Man was hidden, and the Most High preserved him in the presence of his might and revealed him to the elect. So again, this is like that hidden knowledge. Most people aren't able to even access it or be aware of it. The congregation of the elect and holy shall be sown, and the elect shall stand before him on that day. And all the kings and the mighty, again, we're talking about them falling on their face, and they're begging him for mercy. But why? Right? He's hiding. If he's hiding from you, that's just such a jerk thing to do, right? Such a jerk thing to do. All right. Let's see. This isn't worth a migraine. Yeah, no, hopefully we can, it's not started, it's just, we don't know. It's at that part where it can go either way. Let's see. Revealed to the elect. They had democratic elections. No, so the elect in this case, these are people that Yahweh has specifically chosen because of their righteousness, such as Enoch, for example. So for people that Yahweh just really likes, like it's just favoritism, really. I mean, would you, again, if you're somebody that is believing in a different religion or no religion at this time, and somebody tells you this, that you better listen to me about my God, because my God is hiding from you and he won't reveal himself to you, but you'll die and suffer horribly if you don't believe in him. I'd be like, what kind of God is that? Why would I want to believe in a God that's going to punish me for not knowing him when he deliberately hides from me? Right? That's such a weird setup, isn't it? This is more of a what am I thinking? It's like a system to set up like priests. Do you know what I mean? In a religion. So that way we have to listen to you because God revealed himself to you, and so now you on earth have all the power over us, and we have to follow what you say. And anything you say, we just have to go with it because God has revealed himself to you and not to us. So this really is like setting up a system for like priestly abuse, like an abuse of power, isn't it? This is pretty sick, I would say. This is a pretty twisted, kind of sick thing. Have I considered low carb? It worked for my son. I've tried a lot of different stuff. My migraines are secondary to a primary condition that I got in the Marines. So they're not just like a thing by itself. Yeah. So why would Yahweh want to surprise and humiliate someone who just wasn't convinced and put them in pain? Let's not forget that. We're surprising them, humiliating them, and putting them in great physical suffering. Just because he hid himself. Very odd, right? Very odd that, I wonder what Enoch is going to ask. Is Enoch going to ask the angels about this? Let's see. Enoch was a Calvinist. Perhaps. But it seems more like Enoch is trying to set up a situation where guys like him, who claim to have been given some kind of revelation, that they should be listened to, that they should be kind of put up on a pedestal and listened to. Yeah. Let's see. Yahweh makes us unbelievers and then hates us for it. He's such a weirdo. Well, he would be if he existed. Remember, this is also in... Remember, this is the Old Testament. This also happens in the New Testament, and this also happens in the Quran as well. So it's pretty consistent that Yahweh is punishing people for not knowing him when he hides himself or hardens people's hearts. So it's very strange. I had a teasing migraine earlier. A couple pills knocked it out of the park. Yeah. I don't know if you can unblock, but you can give it a try. But there's nothing really going on. Let's see. Does looking at a monitor for too long trigger your migraines? So looking at a light. So a monitor is light. I typically have this, actually, I can show it to you guys, I think. I typically have it here, if we can do that. But does that bother you guys too much? The other option is to put my migraine glasses on. I might just do that, because a lot of people hate this. My students definitely hate it. So... I got these ready. Don't worry. All right. They're pretty cool. Okay. Let's see. Just thought I would mention that my trips to church to convert Christians went more cordially than Alika's appearance. Good gracious. All right. So again, nevertheless, the Lord of spirits will so press them that they shall hastily go forth from his presence. Their faces shall be filled with shame and darkness growing deeper on their faces. He will deliver them to angels for punishment, to execute vengeance on them, because they have oppressed his children and his elect. This, again, just seems like, when a parent tells a child, oh, the bully is only bullying you because they're jealous. And nothing gets solved, right? You didn't help the child. You didn't report the bully. You didn't fix the bullying. You didn't teach the child to defend themselves. Nothing happened. You're just saying, well, continue to suffer this abuse because psychologically the bully is the one really being tormented. That's really what it seems like here, that if I was Enoch sharing this with the people that already believe, It's like, you know, these guys are bullying us, but really in the end, Yahweh's going to win. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, how is that empowering to me on earth, right? I mean, if I have a really unjust leader, wouldn't I want to do something about that? But this is really saying, who cares? Because after everybody's done and dead, they're still going to get punished. So we will have the last laugh. I mean, this is such a paralyzing kind of. I mean, this is so disempowering. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Is anybody else getting that vibe? That's what I'm feeling. They shall be a spectacle for the righteous and for his elect. They shall rejoice over them, because the wrath of the Lord resteth upon them, and his sword is drunk with their blood. Disgusting, right? Absolutely disgusting. That, again, it's literally what I just said, right? That now we're going to laugh at you because you thought you were amazing and a wonderful king, but really you're just like nothing, and we are the righteous elect and you were just trash. And they're going to laugh and rejoice as their fellow humans are being tormented to the point that there is like this blood-soaked sword drunk with their blood. Disgusting. Disgusting. This is that religious arrogance. This is that just hate for their fellow human being. Just disgusting. Which I guess we're kind of seeing with Alika, aren't we? All right. Looking awesome. Thanks. That's the hope. Cool. What is the spirit of rain? It sounds very scientific. The spirit of rain, as per to music production, the spirit of rain is literally just like the god of rain, except we're not calling it the god of rain because we've decided this is monotheism, so we're saying the spirit of rain, or the angels that control the rain. But that's really what it is. The rain itself is not a spirit. It's just controlled by the angels. That's how it works. And so anytime there's rain, anytime there's sunshine, anytime there's fog or mist or clouds, that is because an angel has deliberately opened up part of the dome and has allowed this into the dome, and then it does its thing on the flat earth, and then another angel opens it in another spot, and then it exits. So that's the belief that's happening here. Ms. Elton Lemon, thank you. All right. Classic Bible, suffer now, it'll be great later on, honest, I promise you. And oh, there's some examples when I made it awful for other people in the past. Right. I mean, this is just like really empty promises, but really hurtful to their life on earth, isn't it? Right? Don't fight back, don't complain, just accept your lot in life, you know? I mean, if I was like a really evil king, I would write this. Wouldn't you? I'd write this and give it to somebody and pretend this person was like, wasn't related to me at all, that I wasn't paying this priest, whatever, and that they had a magical vision and all this other stuff. This is something like an evil king would write, so that way the people don't fight back. Right? This is a great way to keep your subjects from rising up against you. To just promise that later on there's going to be a punishment that's way, way, way worse than anything you could have exacted on earth. Let's see. Is it metaphorical or literal? This appears to be like literal. This appears to be literal. A lot of stuff that Enoch is talking about, he appears to be describing things that he either believes he's witnessed or has witnessed in a dream. So this doesn't appear to be anything but literal. The spirit of rain would be water vapor, right? That's it. Lots of blue-collar angels working on the dome, apparently. That's a good way to think about it, for sure. It's for the weak to subjugate the strong, and eventually everybody. Pretty sick stuff, yeah. All right. So we're just hurting people, destroying people, and the Lord of Spirits, which is Yahweh, will abide over them. And with that, the Son of Man shall eat and lie down and rise up forever and ever. And the righteous and elect shall have risen from the earth and cease to be of downcast countenance. So this downcast countenance appears to be just submission. So they will cease to be submitting to some other authority, except for Yahweh. But with Yahweh, we can raise our faces and tell him he's wonderful. So this means that now, have the turntables, right? This is this idea that the kings have subjected you and made you be of downcast countenance. But now they're the ones who are looking downward and twisting and writhing in pain. And you are the ones with your faces lifting up, watching them, and looking down upon them. So that's just more of the same. Where is Noah in all of this? So let's go ahead and go to the next chapter. All right. So the unavailing repentance of the kings and the mighty. Girl, Enoch. What are we doing? This is like very, very, very repetitive. Okay. See what you guys are saying in the group chat here. Yeah, Nathan, God proves God, exactly. All right, see you later, SJ, have a good time. Awful lot of hurting going on. It's about time we remember that he loves us. We are being domestically abused, and Yahweh is the perpetrator. Yes, that's basically it. Basically it. All right. So, again, this really appears, as far as I could tell, this really appeared to be just like a revisiting of, or rehashing of what has been told before. But one thing that I thought was really, I don't know, just an especially cruel thing. And in the day of our suffering and tribulation, he saves us not, and we find no respite for confession. That our Lord is true in all his works, and his judgments and justice, and his judgments have no respect of persons. Girl, we've done been new, right? So here, this is that idea that when you recognize God, because remember, he was hidden from you, and now that he's not hidden from you, you say, oh, okay, obviously I believe in you. And he's like, suffer. I mean, man, can you imagine if anybody treated somebody like that? Jeez. All right. Got to get ready for your show. Okay, Neil, have a good one. I'll check your Discord comment. Let's see. Stockholm Syndrome. See you later, Paul. Where are you from, by the way, if you're saying it's late? Are you in somewhere like Central Europe? Northern Europe? Why was Enoch respected by the people? Because he had this vision. That's why. So people believed he was chosen by Yahweh to convey this information, and that's why he got that respect. Yeah. All right. So again, this is just the same as before. But the kings are also going to admit this now. So they shall say unto themselves, our souls are full of unrighteous gain, but it does not prevent us from descending from the midst thereof into the burden of Sheol. Now, Sheol is, some people think it's like a hell. Some people think it's a place where you go and you just cease to exist. So that's the concept here. And after that, their faces are filled with darkness and shame, and there's swords. I mean, again, this is just really cruel stuff, from the loving God, right? How can you be all love? So the fallen angels, those are the watchers, okay, that we mentioned earlier. So we're in the place of punishment. And here Enoch sees that there is a voice of an angel saying, these are the angels who descended to the earth and revealed what was hidden to the children of men and seduced the children of men into committing sin. Okay, so again, that they had shared some of that knowledge, such as metallurgy. Finally, we've got Noah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Testimony is not personal experience. Everyone has testimony. Right, that's your opinion on a thing that happened, right? Blue blockers might help. Those we can talk to me about that in the Discord chat, because I have a bit of a rant about those. But yes, but no, I do have different colored glasses though. So, and in those days Noah saw the earth, that it had sunk down, and its destruction was nigh. And he arose from thence and went to the ends of the earth, and cried aloud to his grandfather Enoch. And Noah said 3 times with an embittered voice, Hear me, hear me, hear me. And I said unto him, Tell me, what is that falling out in the earth, that the earth is in such an evil plight and shaken, lest perchance I shall perish with it? Okay, so Noah's like, hey, Grandpa, and Grandpa Enoch is like, what's going on? This looks pretty dangerous, okay? And so he notices that there's a great commotion from the earth, okay? Remember, as this situation was happening with the Watchers reproducing with humans, they were bearing giants, literal giants. Enoch is away. He's like in heaven. He's observing this stuff. So he's not physically on earth. Okay. So again, he falls on his face. He's so just shocked and taken aback at this. And Enoch, my grandfather, that's an odd phrasing, came and stood by me and said to me, Why hast thou cried unto me with a bitter cry and with weeping? And a command goes forth from the presence of the Lord concerning those who dwell on the earth, and ruin is accomplished, because they have learnt all the secrets of the angels, and all the violence of the Satans, all their powers, the most secret ones, and the power of those who practice sorcery, the power of witchcraft, and the power of those who make molten images for the whole earth. So, Satans, why is that plural? Satan just means the adversary. So these are angels that are just kind of against God. They are doing things not necessarily to hate him or to spite him. They're doing things that he just doesn't necessarily like. The other thing, again, just as we saw in the Garden of Eden, Yahweh really, really, really hates for his people to be educated. That's really it, isn't it? Because here we're looking at the of knowledge that had been spread. So most of this is knowledge. Okay, sometimes with that knowledge, people became violent, but really what they're worried about is knowledge. Remember, some of the knowledge that was passed from the Watchers was like the knowledge of makeup. This is not a violent thing; it's just to wear makeup, right? And this idea of sorcery, witchcraft. Remember, witchcraft is very simply just psychology, but also learning things about the earth, depending on what specialization you want to do. So it's just basically using herbs to help people, which you also can use to harm people, I guess. But things like using ginger tea to help your stomach if it's upset, that's witchcraft. Something where you understand psychology, even though it wasn't called psychology at that time, but you understand ways to convince people to do things, or you understand how to subtly nudge people in one direction. That is a type of witchcraft. Even just things like a woman seducing a man, that was considered witchcraft. So when we're talking about witchcraft, I know these days a lot of times we're talking about magic and stuff, and that's what it was perceived at that time as well, that this was somehow magical. But really, this is just knowledge of herbs, knowledge of human behavior. That's really all this is. All right. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Wow, glasses of color, not color glasses. Good gracious. Did that really happen? All right, see you, Nathan. Have a good time. Let's see. Isn't the goal of every biblical character to accomplish ruin? I guess. That's the end goal. Ruin in this life or in the next. I wish modern Christians would put their canon in perspective of the books that came before it. I'm not sure what you mean specifically there, yeah. Let's see, seducing people is pretty magical, to be honest. Alika says, prove it's not from God. Alika, remember, you're the one making the claim. You're the one that has to provide the evidence. Okay? If I tell you I have a magical dragon in my bedroom, and you say I don't believe that, it's for me to show you the magical dragon in my bedroom. It's not for me to say, well, prove I don't have a magical dragon in my bedroom. That just doesn't work. All right. So the molten images for the whole earth, again, that's part of that metallurgy. It was really emphasized, that's why I keep repeating it, not only because you can build armor and you can build weapons, but also because you can build these idols as well. How silver is produced from the dust of the earth. What level of alchemy is this? And how soft metal originates in the earth. Okay, good. For lead and tin are not produced from the earth like the first. It is a fountain that produces them, and an angel that stands therein, and that angel is preeminent. No. So again, this is part of the problem with some of these old beliefs. I mean, it's just demonstrably wrong, right? And if this is factually incorrect, why would we believe Enoch for everything else that he's just talking about, right? Let's see. So no, your evidence isn't the testimony. That's your testimony is a claim. It must be proven. So that's the problem. Yeah. So after that, my grandfather Enoch took hold of me by my hand and raised me up and said unto me, Go, for I have asked the Lord of spirits as touching this commotion on earth. And he said, because of their unrighteous and their judgment has been determined upon, and there shall not be withheld by me forever. That's kind of interesting. Did Yahweh say that? Must have been Yahweh that says, yeah, me with the capital. Because of the sorceries which they have searched out and learnt, the earth and those who dwell upon it shall be destroyed. I mean, is that really a reason to destroy your creation? That just seems like a new, what am I talking about? Like a new season in the show of humans, right? Okay, well now they know sorcery, okay. You know what I mean? It's like when you're watching the reboot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix, right? Okay, well, apparently Sabrina can do that now. You know, okay, let's keep watching. And that's kind of what this is. I don't call up, Netflix and say, I don't like this, delete it. I can just choose not to watch, but if I was a creator deity and my creations figured some stuff out, I'd be like, okay, let's see what you got. Let's see what happens. This is cool. This will be interesting. I wouldn't be really upset. Why are they so upset? And really, why are they so upset? Can anybody guess why Yahweh's so upset by this? By sorcery, by witchcraft, by metallurgy, by makeup. Why is Yahweh upset? Do we know? I'm not a metallurgist, but that ain't how metal refining or mining works. Are you sure you didn't receive iron ore or lead ore from a bunch of angels that produce it from a fountain? Let's see. Okay, so proven how, I was asked and I answered. So Alika, just because we are still having this discussion. Alika, so if I said this for any other religion, and I said I prayed and it was answered, and that's my testimony, would you believe in that religion? No. So what would you ask from me to prove that my God is real or that my religion is worth following? Because me just saying I did a spell and it came true, and that's why I believe in the God of the forest. You wouldn't believe in the God of the forest, right? Just so my testimony isn't proof, right? Number one, it's a claim. I haven't even proved it happened. But number two, you wouldn't even be convinced by that. Maybe you can watch one of the videos that I did recently, which is about critically evaluating your religion. Let's see. So God doesn't love his creation. Yahweh comes off as egregore, okay? For me, what I'm getting here is, what is Yahweh's end goal? His end goal is eventually Judgment Day, where all the souls that have died and that are alive at that time are now judged. after that, there's no more humans on Earth. Well, there's a new Earth and stuff that happens, but it's a bit different, okay? The purpose of the righteous souls is just to constantly praise him. He wants to have a weak, uneducated group so they can constantly praise him and ask him for things. And he can just say, I don't want to give that to you because whatever. He can do that. But he still wants them to seek him. That's the thing. So when people learn things like witchcraft, which again is just learning about how to use the plants, right? If I'm sick, Yahweh wants me to praise him constantly in hopes that he will be merciful to me and heal me of my sickness. So this idea of witchcraft, where I can actually learn about what different causes might be a factor in my sickness, and then trying to treat those causes with different herbs, and then figuring out, oh, well, I can cure my nausea with this. Yahweh doesn't like that because we're not praising him. It's the same with things like metallurgy. We are saying, wow, I built that. Wow, I did that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, pretty great. And wow, you're a really good sculptor. Let's give it up for this guy. Yeah, this guy's a good sculptor. Okay, cool. We're not praising Yahweh. And that's where all of this becomes evil, right? That's why I said earlier, what is good? In the case of Yahweh, what is good is to praise him. That's it. And so all of this is just, I want my creation to be stupid. I want my creation to be weak. I want my creation to be helpless. So that way they'll constantly praise me, because that's his end goal, right? And again, how is this supposed to convince me, whether living at the time of Enoch or not, that this is a God worth worshiping? Ignoring, just even granting that he exists, right? Not even asking for evidence, just assuming, okay, whatever, your God exists and so do all these other gods. I'm going to choose to worship your God because what? There's no empowerment. There's no betterment of my life on earth. It's keeping me in this position of helplessness. So I constantly reach out to him for praise. If that's not an abusive relationship, you know what I mean? So, all right. Let's see. All right. Kill the first one who stops praising me, God or Dr. Doom, but whatever. Yeah, essentially. Let's see. So this is, this is the big issue, for sure, that's happening. And he has destined thy name to be holy and will preserve thee amongst those who dwell upon the earth. So this is referring to Enoch and Noah, okay? So this idea that they're just going to have a bajillion descendants, and that's awesome, because that's what he destined. So, again, it's not that Noah was amazing or anything. He just was chosen by Yahweh. So, the angels of the waters, bidden to hold them in check. And after that, he showed me the angels of punishment. We got so many angels, don't we? Angels of punishment that are prepared to come and let loose all the powers of the waters which are beneath the earth, in order to bring judgment and destruction on all those who dwell upon the earth. So again, this old belief of this flat earth with a dome usually is surrounded by water. And so that's why they're talking about opening up like the bottoms, like the depths of the earth, and that water seeps in. So that is what they're talking about here. I need to get a pair of those glasses, not only functional but cool. Shuggle, why don't you message me about that on Discord? I can send you the link. They're very, very inexpensive. They're like $3, something like that. So this is what's going on. Okay, the Lord of Spirits says, hey, do it. Or don't do it yet. Okay, so he's got their power in check, and they're leaving, moving on. So now, in the days of the word of God, came to unto me. So these are the days that God is transmitting information to Enoch. He said unto me, Noah, thy lot has come up before me, a lot without blame, a lot of love and uprightness. Which again, an alcoholic that hates his kids. Okay. But I guess Yahweh really sees himself in Noah. And now the angels are making a wooden building, and when they have completed that task, I will place my hand upon it and preserve it, and there shall come forth from it a seed of life, and a change shall set in, so that the earth will not remain without inhabitant. Pretty interesting here that Noah doesn't actually build the ark. Doesn't even appear to be an ark, does it? It appears to just be a building. Cool. And it's the angels. I mean, that makes way more sense, I think. And I will make fast thy seed before me forever and ever. I will spread it. So in the case of the seed or Noah's descendants. It shall not be unfruitful on the face of the earth. So just say it shall be fruitful. Why we got to phrase it that way? But it shall be blessed and multiply on the earth in the name of the Lord. So people are going to reproduce. I mean, it's not a special command or anything. And he will imprison those angels which have shown unrighteousness in that burning valley my grandfather had formerly shown to me in the west of the mountains of gold and silver and iron and soft metal and tin. So remember, the watchers were bound. They were placed underground, and they were placed in an area of fire. And then there was like 7 mountains that they had talked about, and they talked about different mountains and the different metals that had represented those mountains. So this is what he's talking about. And I saw in the valley there was a great convulsion and a convulsion of the waters. Convulsion and convulsion. Okay. Again, not winning any points here. And when I took this place from that fiery molten metal, and from the convulsion thereof in that place, there was the smell of sulfur, and it was connected to those waters, and the valley of the angels who had led astray mankind burned beneath that land. And through the valleys proceeded streams of fire, where these angels had punished who had led astray those who dwell upon the earth. So again, that's just what we said, that the watchers were punished underground in this weird fiery pit. So the chat is saying, cheapness of glasses is proof of God. Perhaps this passage seems to be showing about the utter helplessness of man and the neediness of Yahweh. Yes, Yahweh is very, very needy, right? And again, if I am in a world or in a time where we just accept all kinds of different gods, and you introduce this God to me, I mean, do I really? This guy just seems like an angry little kid that wishes he had power but doesn't. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, when I grow up, I'm gonna be a CEO, and you're all gonna work for me, and you're gonna clean the gum out of my trash can. So, and that's what it really gives that vibe. You know what I mean? Not power, but anger, pettiness. All right. Let's see. All right. The link for the glasses, yes, I have to get that. So if you guys can mention that to me, like in the general chat, in the Discord, which I can get you the link for that, because I don't know if you have that link. I haven't seen you post here just yet. All right. Cool. So again, so you guys, I see in the live stream, there's a lot of discussion with this sidetracking individual, which again isn't really a good discussion, because you guys are limited by that, what's it called? By the character limit. So I would really recommend just going to the Discord and, yeah, just dealing with that. Just gonna try to temp. Let's see. Maybe this will work to remove Alika. Not sure. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be very fruitful discussion, and I know you guys are interested in this topic. So, yeah, that's the hope. Alika, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what the purpose is, Alika, to really, you're just here to basically harass people. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. So we're gonna see. I won't come no more. Okay, you can go to the, you can go to the group chat. You want to defend your faith? Go to the Discord, okay? But step one is just to demonstrate there's a, valid reason for it. That's all. Okay. Gotta watch my MMA and have my nice morning Miss Lee, hopefully. So that is there. All right. Let me see if I can try something here. If we can. Not 100%. Let's see. So we are. View. I'm not sure if there is this option. Nope. Nope. Nope, nope. Very odd. Okay. Oh well. Alright. So, again, hopefully, let's pop out the chat, make it a little bit easier. Okay. Hopefully, if Alika wants to defend their beliefs, then go to the place that said makes sense to defend your beliefs. This like very short, difficult to navigate, try to keep everything straight little chat is not the place to have like a serious discussion about this. All right. Let's see, if given opposable thumbs and a care in the world, it'd be interesting to know what gems Krampus would dictate for humanity. Mostly just to leave him alone, except when you feed him. Trusted mods from your Discord for your chat. Maybe I do need that. Because I have had, unfortunately, somebody had come in and been rather rude to the people, which is unfortunate. Alright. Why go harass people? Why is the... I don't know. I'd say to each their own, but I don't know. Alright. So again, we've got the Watchers being burned, and now the Waters. They're serving for the kings and the mighty and the exalted, for healing the body, but now we've twisted it to punish them, okay? Because they've also used their body to create like a bad spirit within their body, so the spirit is full of lust and so forth. And again, lust in what way, right? In this case, I would say it's lust for knowledge. I really would. I wouldn't think this is anything necessarily sexual, because that's not even anything that was mentioned earlier. Yeah, there's interbreeding between the Watchers and humans, and somehow that led to giants. Doesn't really explain that. But really, the crime that humanity has committed is education. That's really the crime that has been committed. Let's see. Earthquake. Boy. Earthquakes in Alaska, that's really a scary time, especially in the summer, because of that liquefaction. So hopefully everything was not only safe, but level. That's the hope. In an earthquake, coffins become underground maracas. That's great. Alright, so we are burning their bodies, we're seeing their punishment daily. I mean, this is, again, just cruelty. And why? For the spirit, or for the judgment shall come upon them, because they believe in the lust of their body and deny the spirit of their Lord. Again, what is the lust of their body? And who created the lust of their body? And you also said that you were hidden from these people. So you create these people to lust after, to desire after various things that make their body and mind happy. And you hide yourself from them so they don't even know that you exist. And then you punish them for not praising you. I mean, what a ridiculous trap. What a ridiculous trap. Again, I feel like Enoch is almost doing a disservice to his belief system, right? To say, hey, look at how petty and ridiculous my God is. A very, very petty kind of thing. Let's see. And those same waters will undergo a change in those days, for when those angels are punished in those waters, these water springs shall change their temperature, and when the angels ascend, the water of the spring shall become cold. Very interesting. So the water is going to heat up and then cool down. And I hear Michael, the other angel, answering and saying, this judgment wherewith the angels are judged is a testimony for the kings and the mighty who possess the earth. Because, these waters of judgment minister to the healing of the body of the kings and the lust of the body. Therefore, they will not see and will not believe that those waters will change and become a fire which burns forever. I mean, it's a testimony that no one's going to believe. Then what's the point? What's the point? He's literally saying we're going to harass and burn these angels and cause destruction to the water that you guys enjoy. We're going to do that to prove to you just how serious Yahweh is, but none of you will believe it. So then what's the point? But again, why would you say this? Why would this even be written there? This is so when a person who does believe this is met with someone who doesn't believe and who won't accept it. They'll just say, well, see, that's what Enoch had written, that you guys wouldn't believe it anyway. So obviously you just proved that Enoch was right and therefore Yahweh is real, right? So that is, wow, that's so sad that Alika is coming back and just can't. Just go to the Discord, Alika. Jeez. You don't love me. Don't say you love me. You're not wishing peace. You're bothering people. You're harassing people. And you're doing it in a way that isn't even benefiting your religious goals. You're just being a troll. Like, how ridiculous is that? Ridiculous. Look at that. Look at what... Now, Alika said this very perfectly. This is what Alika said. You can't hide from the Lord. In the end, you will face him. Girl, isn't that what we've been saying? That's it. Right? It doesn't matter how intelligent you are and how skeptical you are and how much you're pointing out the flaws in what I'm saying. Because in the end, I'm going to be right and you're going to be punished. This is the same thing. This is the exact same thing. So in that way, I guess we can thank Alika for just proving the absolute pettiness, the condescension, just the nonsense, like this illogical kind of, unconvincing kind of thought process, right? Cool. Hello, Jonathan. So Michael and Raphael, they are astonished at the severity of judgment. Well, that's interesting. Finally, they are astonished. Self-reinforcing delusional structure set up in the text. Very nice. I know, it's very nice when we get to, see something from so old and from so long ago that this person is saying, this isn't part of my Bible, I don't believe it, and then yet, I don't know. It's just fun. And after that, my grandfather Enoch gave me the teaching of all the secrets in the book of the parables which had been given to him. These are what we had read before. He put them together for me in the words of the book of parables. And on that day, Michael answered Raphael and said, the power of the Spirit transports and makes me to tremble because of the severity of the judgment of the secrets, the judgment of the angels. Who can endure the severe judgment which has been executed, and before which they melt away? And Michael answered again and said to Raphael, who is he whose heart is not softened concerning it, and whose reins are not troubled by the word of judgment that has gone forth because of those who have thus led him out? So Michael here, he's having a hard time accepting that Yahweh really went overboard. Like, really went overboard. And it came to pass when he stood before the Lord of Spirits, and Michael said thus to Raphael, I will not take their part under the eye of the Lord, for the Lord of Spirits has been angry with them, because they do as if they are the Lord. Remember, what is that? Right? Remember, even back early in Genesis, Genesis chapter 3, you will be like God. And what is it to be like God? To have information. That's it. Information is to be like God. Therefore all that is hidden shall come upon them forever and ever, and neither angel nor man shall have his portion in it, but they alone receive their judgment forever and ever. Very odd. You know what this is? God works in mysterious ways. That's all this is, with that hiddenness, isn't it? That's really all this is. I just realized that. We have all this hidden stuff, and that's what we still hear today. God works in mysterious ways. Right. The names and the functions of the fallen angels and Satan's, the secret oath. Oh, we're getting some secrets. So after this judgment, they shall terrify and make to them tremble, because they have shown this to those who dwell on the earth. So this is like a parent that beats you, and they're coming at you, and they're doing that thing with the belt. You guys know what I'm talking about, where they fold the belt over and they grab both ends of it and they snap it. This is what's happening. And then the children are trembling and terrified, knowing what is to come. That's what this is. Again, this is not a loving God. This is not this is an angry, petty, cruel God, really. In the chat, some people say the book of Enoch could not possibly be written by one person who had a dream. I'm inclined to believe it was written by different people who collected some oral tradition. I agree with you, because it appears that we're hearing this, or this is written by someone who heard it from Enoch, possibly Noah, or somebody who wrote it down as if they were writing for Noah. So we have the names of the angels, which we have messed up the first time, so we're going to mess them up the second time. Is Samjaza, the second is Artakifa, the third is Arman, the fourth is Kokabel, the fifth is Turarel, the sixth is Rumjal, the seventh is Danjal, and you can see Nekel, Barakel, Azazel, Aramos, Batajal, Busejal, Hananel, Turel. We have it says Sima Pisiel. I thought it was said Simp at first, sorry. Jetrel, Tumael, Turel, Rumael, and Azazel. We have two Azazels. So Azazel 10 and Azazel 21. So these guys are the watchers. So these are the main watchers. They were the ones that were basically like the security guys that were just kind of watching, making sure stuff is okay on Earth. I wonder if severe words were used because the prophet industry at the time was a competition between the loudest voices. I'm not sure. It could be. You know, if I'm going to choose a god, maybe choose the one that has the worst punishment for the non-believer, so that way I can avoid that, you know. The repetitive use of the same word supports coming from an oral tradition, easier to remember. Oh, I'm sure. The thing is just, we're just making jokes about it being written this way, just as a teacher, that's all. Because I do have students that do speak like they write like this, and I bless them. That's a good time. Bless them with lightning, right? How would you do that? Bless them with lightning? I don't know. So these are the chiefs of their angels, and their names, and their chief ones over hundreds, over 50s, and over 10s. The name of the first is Jekon. That is the one who led astray the sons of God and brought them down to the earth. Now, we did get a different name. I thought that was Samjaza was like the guy that got the most blame. But the second was Aspiel. He was imparted the holy sons of God. Evil counsel led them astray, who defiled their bodies with the daughters of men. And the third was Gadriel, who showed the children of men all the blows of death. He led astray Eve. He showed the weapons of death of the son of men, the shield, the coat of mail. So these are the metallurgy stuff. Interesting. So we have Gadriel, not Lucifer, not generic Satan as a title. And interesting, not the serpent, right? It's just some angel. And he wasn't even like thrown out of heaven yet. He was just some angel. Okay. And again, this really reminds me of, who was it? Prometheus, who the gods wanted to keep fire away from the humans, and Prometheus brought fire, and he was punished for that. And it's like, that's really what we should, he's so evil because he shared his information. He led Eve astray, but astray from what? Just a naked stupor? That doesn't sound bad, right? He taught her things. What's wrong with that? So from his hand they proceeded against those who dwell on the earth from that day and forevermore. The fourth was named Penamua. Sorry, don't know. He taught the children of the bitter and the sweet. He taught them the secret of their wisdom, instructed mankind with ink and paper. And thereby many have sinned from eternity to eternity until this day. Because they could write? That's sinning from eternity to eternity? Because they could write? He taught them knowledge? He taught people things that are true that are not so great, and things that are true that are great? I mean, if you want to see what kind of God Yahweh is, this is a great section to read. He's mad that people were writing. For men were not created for such a purpose, to give confirmation of their good faith with pen and ink. Okay, boomer. Is that what this is? If you really wanted to talk to me, you wouldn't text me. You know what I mean? Like, this is so ridiculous. So ridiculous. All right. I wonder if severe words are used. Okay. Better block the Christians and read the non-canonical scriptures. No, that's not it. There's Christians that join us. There's a Christian I'm going to be doing a group video with. But again, I don't know why you keep coming back under different. Is it really that difficult for Alika to defend their beliefs, that they won't even just go to the Discord? They're going to make a bunch of different side accounts here. So weird. So weird. Debate me. There's no debate. You just provide evidence or don't. I mean, that's it. This is not difficult. Provide evidence or don't. There's no debate. Like, this doesn't need to be there. You're making this more difficult than it is. But apparently, Alika was not created for such purpose, to give confirmation of good faith with pen and ink. For men were created exactly like the angels, to the intent that they should continue a pure and righteous, and death, which destroys everything, could not have taken hold of them. But through this, their knowledge, they are perishing, and through this power, it is consuming me. So in other words, Yahweh said, yeah, you guys can be totally like the angels, except you don't have knowledge. And then when the angels gave them knowledge, Yahweh's like, okay, you get to die now. Again, very petty, ridiculous kind of God, isn't it? So the fifth was Kasdeja, who showed the children of men all the wicked smitings of the spirits and demons, the smitings of the embryo in the womb, that it may pass away, and the smitings of the souls, the bites of the serpent, and the smitings that which befall through the noontide heat. Somebody had to teach you to not go stand at high noon in a desert. Someone had to teach you that? Come on. I mean, this is so silly. The son of the serpent named Tabaet. And the task of Casbael, in the chief of the oath which he had showed to the holy ones, dwelt high above in glory. Its name is Bika. This angel requested Michael show him the hidden name, that he may enunciate it in the oath, so that they might quake before the name and oath, who revealed. This is like what they think witchcraft and sorcery is right here. So the angels can do sorcery, God can do sorcery, but people can't do sorcery. So again, what is the purpose of humans? They're created initially to be living forever, but have no knowledge, and to only worship Yahweh. And then once they got knowledge, that's bad. Very silly. I mean, what are you guys getting from this? What is any vibe or overall information, overall story that you guys are getting from this? For me, it just seems to keep showing just how small Yahweh is. That's what it appears to show. Like, if Yahweh went to a therapist, you know, he might get, like a psychologist, he might get diagnosed with, like, narcissistic personality disorder, and very likely, what is it, antisocial personality disorder? Used to be called psychopathy, but it's changed to antisocial personality disorder. That's just what it seems like. I'm the best, everyone should worship me, nobody else matters, and if they don't do what I say, I'll just murder them. I mean, that's not a god, right? It seems the case that the creation's end is near, and it's coming to its destruction. That's what it seems, yeah, for here. Take that back and repent. Is this again? Take what back and repent? Can you give me a reason before you're just blocked? Can you just give me a reason? This shows how the Bible started, and it's quite fascinating. I agree. I mean, as part of a study, you know what I mean? That's what we're doing this for. It's a study. This isn't proving or disproving any gods or anything like that. But I mean, to say that Yahweh is painted as a small, petty god that seems to be just a entity that's, you know, a gray representation of narcissistic personality disorder and ASPD. I mean, why would I repent of that? I don't get it. I'm on to something, I guess. Alika is persistent, says Shugel. I just wish they would just answer the question that was presented to them. But it's just squirming. I know. That's it. There we go. Cool. All right. So these are the secrets of the oath. You guys ready? It's the secrets of the oath. Ready? They are strong through his oath. The heavens suspended before the world was created and forever. I mean, wait, if we read this out loud, is something going to happen? Because this was, like, magical, right? And through it the earth was founded upon the water. That's cute, right? The earth is just kind of floating on the water. And from the secret recesses of the mountains come beautiful waters. So, I mean, I guess if I lived at that time, I would consider it to be secret and, like, magical, mystical. But, I mean, we understand what an aquifer is now and, like, how the spring works. From the creation of the world and unto eternity, and through that oath the sea was created, and as its foundation he set for its sand against the time of its anger. Why is sand angry? It's just sand. I mean, if I was sand, what would I be angry about? I can fly around real easily, I can hang out underwater. Why would I be mad about being sand? And it dare not pass beyond it from the creation of the world unto eternity. This is something that, again, it's very, like, animist, isn't it? Everything has, like, an entity or a soul to it, which is very interesting. I honestly didn't know there was a direct precursor to the Old Testament. This is not a precursor to the Old Testament. So this was actually written after Genesis. It just explains it a lot more. Angry about the damned heat? Maybe. Yeah, brother, I can't. So that has been the problem, is that, number one, I cannot block people from the 3 dots on mine. That doesn't work. And it seems that this Alika person keeps making new accounts or logging into existing accounts. So we're just having to re-block. But if you guys are able to do that, to block them, cool. But again, it's not going to stop them coming back. So yeah, I mean, the sand can be mad at the heat, but we're talking about the sand underwater. And through that oath are the depths made fast, and and abide and stir not from their place from eternity to eternity. So this word fast, again, if English is not your first language, this is like fastened, to hold something in place. So we're not making the deep parts of the water quickly moving. We're holding it in place so it doesn't go crazy. Because it seems that's what is happening, right? If Yahweh doesn't command it to stay in place, everything's just going to go crazy. If Yahweh doesn't force the sun and the stars and the moon on its course, it's very Bill O'Reilly. Tide comes in, tide comes out. There's no miscommunication. Can't explain that. That's what this seems like. That the tides can voluntarily just stop happening. You know, this is very odd. That the only reason that the waters don't flood us is because Yahweh is holding it back. And that if they chose to flood us, they could. Very strange, right? Let's see. Indecisive, yeah, very indecisive the tide is. Let's see. In the manner, the spirits of the water and the winds and all the zephyrs and their path, the quarters of the winds, remember the winds are kept outside in these different quadrants around the dome, and they're let in. There's voices of thunder and light and lightnings preserved in the chambers of hail and the chambers of hoarfrost and all of this stuff. Again, we're talking about just nature, but it's very, very odd, right? So this oath is mighty, their paths are preserved and their course not destroyed. This also shows up in the Quran, and it's even more stuff is described, like Allah guides the ships as they cross the sea. Not that people are able to, you know, steer with oars or capture the wind with sails. It's Allah driving these ships. Allah holds the birds up, you know. So this is a very, I guess it's trying to show that Yahweh has control over everything. But if I was a creator that wanted control over everything, why would I create everything with a spirit to it, right? If I didn't want the sands to disobey me, then I wouldn't create them with a will or a spirit, right? That just seems very strange. All right, and there was a great joy amongst them. They were blessed and glorified and extolled because the name of the Son of Man had been revealed to them. He sits on the throne, judgment and glory. Sinners pass away, destroyed from off the face of the earth, just blip, blip, deleted, destroys everything that they worked for, destroys all of the things they've built, and that's awesome. So again, it's just, he's a jerk. That's it. So we are going to end here because it appears the next section is separated on that page for a specific reason. Very interesting chat so far. But yeah, that was a bit weird. I don't know why. I think I'm gonna send something to YouTube. I don't know why blocking didn't work this first time. So that was a bit annoying. Yeah, maybe setting up somebody that is a moderator, that may help. It may give them more mod powers. I'm not sure. This would be so sweet if it was written in the Luna Lovegood style from Harry Potter. I still haven't read her. Just listen to Harry Potter. It's the end of the world as we know it. So Enoch was written 300 BCE to 100 CE. So we use that term now. BCE is going to be before Common Era. Come on, M. And CE is Common Era. The reason that we use this now is because that whole BC AD is very religious, and not everybody follows that same religion. There's different calendars that still exist today. So since everybody can use this time, like 2021 is something that most people are aware of, we would call that a common era because we all have that in common, yeah. The profit industry was quite robust at that time. Yes, it appears to be something like what's it called? It appears to be something like around similar times as like Isaiah. That's the idea. Thanks for running this rather difficult stream. I mean, I don't know. It was a time, and I mean, it's Sunday, right? It's a good time for y'all to have your chat. Should we just do it? Just close this live stream, open it up, and let Alika join us? And then that's what it'll be, just a discussion. Do you guys want to do that? Take a 10-minute break. Here, let's bring back our good friend Lika. Oh, it's unhide. Okay, here we go. Lika, can you hear me? Lika. Yeah, go grab snacks. Don't give her the time. I mean, if you guys are bored, you know what I mean? Gil, what's the schedule for my streams? Usually it's same time, but a day prior. But I've been having some horrible migraines. Okay? Lika, I'm talking to you. You can, you know, I unmuted you. So the idea, just making sure you're here. We're just going to end this stream. Okay? And then take a few minutes, grab some snacks, whatever. And then start another stream, and you guys can just talk about this concept of God. Okay, that'd be fun. Yeah, to make a more appropriate place for it. Remember, this isn't a debate, so don't come at it like ready to fight. You know, I mean, just like be calm. Okay. Hope you get relief from my migraines soon. I don't anticipate it. A friend of mine did mention something about a type of shot that I can get, so I am going to try that the next time I have to see my doctor. But that's the idea. All right, so Alika, if you want to join us in again this Discord, and then I'll post a link to the live stream there. Not sure how long we can do it because again, I am feeling a bit migraine-y, but I will make sure to get my medication. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then just kind of come back 10 minutes from now. So whatever hour you're at, 20. Because right now it's 9:10 for me, so 9:20. Okay, see you guys there. I'll put a link in the Discord. Have fun. And if you can't join us, then have a great night. Bye-bye.